Thanks. Thanks so much. Okay. You guys. Okay.
At the right meeting.
Send me a text later if you want.
Hi, April.
Hey, am I at the right meeting?
Yep. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. So, Town Hall has 2 Zoom accounts, and every, I don't know, at least every other month, but it seems like more and more often I get called on to host another town committee meeting with the library's Zoom account. But the good news is I was going to come to this meeting tonight anyway.
Awesome.
Yes. So and when Becky gets here, I'll make her the host so that when my part is done, I can leave. Okay.
You
Hi,
don't have enough to do. Hi, Peg. Hi, George.
Hello.
Hi, Mary. I see your.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening.
It's like a busy time. Hi, Mary Ann, welcome.
Thanks, Peg. Hi, Ann.
Hi, Ann.
Hey, how are you?
Well,
Okay.
I'm good. Is everybody else good? Looks
Yeah.
like
We're going to be,
looks like we might have a busy meeting.
Yeah. We're
So,
ready.
I hope so.
Do we
So
know
too.
if
No.
Melissa's coming tonight?
Mm,
Anybody?
I have not heard.
Haven't heard one way or the other.
And Becky is joining us, or is she here?
I don't
Not
see her.
yet.
Okay.
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Well, we'll wait a couple more minutes. What time? It's 6:30 now.
So looks like we have one more day of spring before
Yep.
it happens.
Wow.
Hey, we made it almost to Thanksgiving, this isn't bad.
No, it's not bad.
What do you think about the Road Town Turkey Trot? Will it happen?
Oh, yeah, the Road Town Turkey Trot is happening Saturday morning at 9.
Trying to rain.
Whatever happens, the
Exactly.
turkey trot is happening.
Turkeys are not afraid of water.
Right.
Don't they drown when they're looking up? Wasn't that a thing?
No,
If they're
you
looking up, they
remember that.
swallow water. I heard that somewhere. I don't know how true it is.
don't you
I
see the
remember
flocks
that.
of the flocks of turkeys that swim at Lake Wyola? They just
I'm going to
Turkeys
remember
swim
that,
in Lake
April,
Wyola?
when
Oh,
I'm
yeah. They
all
all have
wet.
wetsuits on?
no.
No,
Do they wear
there's Becky.
wetsuits?
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Okay.
I see Becky's name.
Hi,
Hi, Becky.
Melissa's in the building. She was asking me some questions, so I ran late and, but she will be logging on in just a minute. She just ran to get her computer because she
Oh
ran.
my God.
Good.
All
Okay.
right.
It's good to see everybody.
Is everybody here besides me and Becky on the personnel committee?
No.
Not Mary David.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But Anne, you're on the personnel
I
committee?
just joined, Mary Ann.
Oh, that's so
Remember.
great.
Thanks
That's
to
so
the
great.
strong arming of my neighbor Peg.
What it takes to
Go
get
with
people these
Peg.
days.
That's good. You keep up the good work,
Now I know why April sometimes doesn't join us on the dog walk. It's like she doesn't want to be pulled for anything else.
Yes. Oh, I don't know. If Peg couldn't have convinced you, April might have done it.
Yeah, so
You never
true.
know. Would have had it out with the dogs.
Yes, we're all kind of in cahoots with sharing really, I think you'll find it to be joyful. It'll make you feel useful to the community. Public service. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
No,
gonna
this
be a fun
committee
thing.
really impressed me already last time, so I'm excited to be here.
Good. Good.
Well,
here.
You impressed us when you pulled up that source about,
Yes.
Well,
that was pretty darn quick, Ann.
well, that's Google helping Peg. Wasn't
I
me.
did talk to Grace about that, and she was totally relaxed about the whole thing, but she thinks things are fine the way they are.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That's good.
we need to talk about that tonight. Well, maybe let's get started and Melissa will join us soon. How about we do that? Okay?
Sure.
Makes sense.
Because we have a busy agenda. So let's call this meeting to order, and it is 6:33. Okay. And first thing on the agenda is approving the minutes from September 21. And
October 19th.
yeah, I don't know why I said that.
That's right.
Yes, October 19th. Yes, October 19th.
And I'll second that.
Okay, and so do we have, is there any point of discussion on the minutes? From September 21, 2023.
Nope.
Okay, all right, so all those in favor?
Arvanitis, aye.
Ross, I.
We usually go in alphabetical order.
Oh, we should? Oh, God.
Good. Anyway, Stein, I.
Brigham, I.
We're approving the minutes. Do you approve the minutes, Melissa?
Did you have any questions?
Sure. No, no question.
Did you read them?
Okay.
Yes, I did see him. Thank you, George.
Okay.
Sorry about that, guys. I'm obviously not at home. I was up here signing select board stuff and then noticed the time.
Okay.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. So our first thing on our agenda for tonight is talking with Mary Ann Antonellis, our library director, about a personnel request. So take the floor, Mary Ann.
Okay, thank you. So when the finance committee sent out their requests for budgets to town, when I got my request, and I think everybody got the same kind of request letter, it said that they wanted a level services budget. And in years past, the finance committee has said different things, but there have been times when they've said a level funded budget. And I saw level services, and to me, I took that as meaning they wanted me to create a budget so that I could provide the same services that I'm providing now to the community. And I was like, what do I need to continue to offer the same really excellent, exemplary, valuable, dynamic, creative services that our library provides to our community? And I'm just going to tell you, I am swamped. I'm participating in a big thing that's kind of a new thing. But frankly, I've been working on building a new library since the day I started as library director almost 16 years ago. And the thing that's different is COVID and the internet. So, and the more that happens in town, the more people want to happen in town. And everybody calls on the library to help, because I think the library is good at helping implement things. But COVID has really made a difference, because before COVID, we weren't meeting online. And there's a big administrative part of online meetings, hybrid meetings, and online programming and hybrid programming. And so somebody has to set up the Zoom meetings. Somebody has to run the Zoom meetings. Somebody has to post the link or email out the link. Somebody, if it's a library program, somebody has to take registration for the program and then register the participants, the Zoom link, or tell them where to come. And it's a lot, and it's all new, and it doesn't seem like it's going to go away. And then for town meetings, after the meeting, so like for this meeting, I had to set up the meeting. I had to send Becky. Oh, and then I'm being called on to use the library Zoom account to host meetings for other departments, like this meeting. It just happened to be serendipity that I was called on to use the library Zoom account to host this meeting. So I had to, schedule the meeting and then send Becky the link, and so that Becky could put the link. And then I had to be available to start the meeting. Now, you could say, well, you could just give somebody else the password and they can log into your account. But I have library programs happening 4 days a week. They each are started by a different person. The more people logging into a Zoom account, the funkier Zoom gets with security. So you don't want just anybody logging into accounts, all the time, because sometimes when that happens, I end up getting a call saying Zoom sent a code. Well, they send the code to me. So I'm just, I'm sort of like swamped by this whole hybrid meeting, online meeting. The trustees of the library have started meeting in person at town hall, but they have to be hybrid meetings. So you have to do the work of setting up for the in-person meeting, and then you have to do the work for setting up for the hybrid meeting, which means, getting a piece of equipment from Becky. So arranging with Becky ahead of time to have the owl available, and then setting that up. It's all, and some of it is we just don't have the infrastructure to do any of this easily. So there's that, and I'm just sort of swamped. I wrote this long list. What else have I not? Oh, the other thing that happened is when we switched to the town-run broadband. Before that, I had broadband through CW Mars, and it came with tech support. And so if the internet wasn't working, I just called up CW Mars and I would say the internet's not working. And they would say, thank you for letting us know. We'll take care of that. Now, if the internet's not working, so now I get broadband like everybody else in town, our fabulous broadband. But I'm tech support, and which means I have to do the troubleshooting and figure things out. And that all takes time. Fortunately, we have excellent internet, and that doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen. And then because broadband is a town department, sort of different than the way the library is. But there isn't, if you have a problem with broadband, if you have a question, it's not always clear who you're supposed to call. Well, guess who? I'm sure town hall gets a lot of those calls too, but I get those calls, right? And then, and then recently people's batteries have started. This is the thing of everybody asked the library for help, right? So people's batteries from when broadband was first installed have started failing, and they make this beeping noise. Has anybody had this happen? And right. So did they tell you to come to the library and get a cord?
No.
No. Okay. So people either, so they call Crocker and they say this thing is beeping, and then Crocker tells them to come to the library and get a cord. So, some people come right to the library and get a cord. Some people call the library first to see if I have the cord. Sometimes Crocker calls me first to see if I have the cords.
Not Crocker anymore, is it though?
Right.
So-
Well, whoever it is, Shield. And so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that this kind of stuff falls on me, and none of it takes hours and hours and hours, but it always interrupts the workflow. So there's all this little stuff. And then there's this thing of during sort of the height of COVID, when everybody was stuck at home, and nothing was open and kids were doing online schooling. I did a lot of really creative and innovative stuff to try and help families stay engaged and entertained and have enriching things happening for their children. And I made these take-home kits for families. And I had always done services for kids and families, but it was more in-person programming. And and then, things started to lighten up with COVID, maybe, who knows, really. And we started having in-person programming again, but people still wanted the take-home kits, right? And that's just sort of one example of, well, we want you to do both, right? So, and I have to find a balance of that. But anyway, the long and short of it is, I can't keep up with the amount of staff that I have and the amount of people that I currently am, which is only one, with the administrative work of the library. And so I would like to add 3 hours a week to the library assistant position. So that's my request. And the trustees support that request. So the library assistant currently works 12 hours a week, and I would like her to work 3 more hours when the library is closed so that she can take on some of the administrative work.
Wow. I mean, it also sounds like you're sort of brushing up against a larger systemic problem. I'm sure that the town hall is slammed with parallel questions about where's the cord. I don't know why you're the keeper of the cord, or getting Zoom meetings and so that I'm wondering if there's something, a way to support both you and town hall in a different way, because it is complicated. But after what you were just saying, going on and on and on about all these things, and then you ask for 3 hours, it's like, is that enough? Is that really enough?
No. But I'm also going to have to make this request of the finance committee, and and so I thought, like, sort of a small request. It's a little bit more than $3,000. It's just under 3,200. I didn't write down the exact amount. And so I thought if I made a small request, it would be more likely to pass all the different boards, and then it could be a good starting, then that gets her up to 15 hours a week, and it takes some of the pressure off of me. I will say that Cynthia is the most productive person. I give her stacks and stacks of things to do, and this would just give me the ability to give her, different stacks of things to do. But it would be a start, and then we could see how it would go, and then if I would like to see us go back to in-person meetings and not have the hybrid portion of it, because there's the setting up the equipment, there's the saving the recording, there's getting the recording to the town clerk so the town clerk can post it on YouTube. There's a lot of different little pieces that sometimes it takes a minute, but all of those different minutes interrupt the other things that you could be doing,
Oh, sorry, go ahead,
Yeah.
Mary.
And I don't know that, but I don't think it's going to go away. I think this is with us to stay, because I think there are benefits to it too. But it's also the Council on Aging, which is a small volunteer board, will have a program, and they'll ask me to co-sponsor the program, and they'll pay for it, which is wonderful. And I'll do the registration and all of the communication about it. And I do that with the Recreation Committee too. And the Recreation Committee formed out of, or resurfaced out of, wanting to have more of the kind of programming that the library was offering. And so it expands opportunities for the town. And that's all really good. But there's an administrative side of it that, when I saw those words, level services, I like, there are many weeks when I work 7 days a week. And some of that is the construction project, and some of that is grants I apply for, and some of that is, me putting in time, helping the Friends of the Library do their thing. And some of that will all fall away once the building is built. But then we're going to have this building, and we're going to still have hybrid programs, and we're still going to have all of this other stuff happening in town. And I'm happy to help, and I'm happy to have the library sort of be the hub that helps make all of this stuff happen. But I need more staff to make that happen.
In regards to Zoom, it's my understanding that we may have in-person meetings starting next year. Is that Melissa, is that something
Yeah.
that we talked about?
Yeah, in-person meetings, I think, are starting to kind of, I mean, the
Happen.
select board's been meeting in hybridly, since I think we started this particular fiscal year. But the hybrid part is not going to go away.
Right, exactly. That's what I
It's
was
here to
gonna
stay.
say. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be
Yeah.
going away, so it still will be there.
Yeah, and this is kind of a side note, Marianne, you brought up a good thing. We may want to think of a different type of account for Zoom so that we can have more than one person, more than one, like, so we don't have to share them so much.
Mhm.
Right. So
Right.
I'll take that up with
Right.
you know.
I think there is definitely a need for another town hall account.
Yeah,
you know,
well, I think you can make
yeah.
one where you can have like so many people can use it, like it's the next
Right,
developer.
right.
I don't, I'm
Right.
not familiar with that.
Yes,
but You bring
yeah.
up another good point. across the
Right.
board.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
So yeah, to answer your question, Peg, I think yes, in-person meetings, but hybrid's not gonna go away.
right. That's what
Right.
okay, and
So
Jill,
that's where you do both, right?
Mhm.
That's, yeah,
Well,
Right.
like you guys
Yeah.
are doing. for
there are
the
some
building.
people that can't be at the meeting, and
right,
it gives them a way to be there and
Yeah.
and here.
Yeah.
yes.
So
Makes sense.
George, FinCom, what do you think?
Well, I think, Marianne you'll have to make the same pitch to the
Mhm.
finance committee. Good luck with that. Bring your helmet. But
I have a hard
you
hat.
know how
next
those
week.
meetings go, Marianne. I'm sure it'll be the same this year too, but yeah, I mean, 3 hours does not sound like a lot to me.
No.
$3,000 a year roughly, I think, is a reasonable request, given all that you're saying. I mean, I would entertain it. But we'll have to debate it, but I don't know what's gonna happen. I just know that, two people are gonna scream and yell, and then the rest of us will hopefully look at it a little more rationally and, probably would
Yeah.
agree to what you're requesting. But I can't tell you we'll do that.
Right. And George,
But
do
I-
you think it's better to do a small request this year and to say, and then sort of to reevaluate next year and say, geez, that was really great. Thank you for the extra 3 hours. Now I want another 3 hours. Or do you think it's better to ask for 6 hours right up front?
Oh, that's a good
It's a
point.
good question.
How badly do you need the 6 hours? I mean,
Right.
if you
Yeah,
think in
then-
the long run, you need 6 hours, let us know. If you think you can get by with 3 this year and 6 the next year, it's always good to ramp up. These
Mhm.
are full-time, these are costs that are going to be baked into the budget. And a smaller step, incremental steps are always better than 1 year full
Right.
step.
Okay.
But,
And-
with the library building going on, you are incredibly busy.
Yeah,
In my mind, take the 6 hours now, but because you probably will this person will probably work. You said Cynthia will probably end up working those 6 hours because I know there's so much that still needs to be done.
Right. Well, and what it is so much is, so, like I do not, so Cynthia works 12 hours a week and then Kristen works 6 hours a week, the 2 weekend shifts. And I do not ask them to work, even 5 minutes beyond their hourly time. So what it falls on is me, right? And it's because they're just hourly employees, right? And I do think if I if I could offer her 6 more hours a week, there would be no end to the work that could be done. And it would be it would be really great. So, so I think, you all have to agree to it first. Is that right?
No,
Or,
That's what
Not,
I wanted to know what the process is.
I don't
Is it
think,
that the personnel committee votes on this and then Marianne would go to the FinCom?
well, what
Yeah.
I would want to ask is, I think we also need to review the job descriptions, because it sounds
was my
like both yours and the, Melissa and I are thinking alike.
Mhm.
I think, yeah,
Yeah.
that's more our purview are the job descriptions. And I think that would also be a way to support the request for more hours. And as long as it's under 20 hours, you're not bumping up against having to pay for benefits, which is
Right.
expensive.
right,
And there'll be the argument that, we have a new library, we don't need more staff, but that's really not what this is. If we
But-
weren't getting a new library, you've just done too well.
Well, and
right, yeah,
and what Marianne highlighted is that there is a tech piece to all this where there hadn't
Mhm.
been in the past, and so.
And
I mean,
that's a
even
larger issue.
things-
That's
there's a
larger
lot of
issue.
little things like how we post meetings has changed. And so that really used to be, or fall more on the town clerk. You filled in a
Mhm.
little like quarter
Card.
sheet of paper, right?
That's
Yes.
right.
Okay, I do remember
Remember.
that correctly. And you handed it to the town clerk and your meeting was posted. And
Yeah.
now you have to log into a system, you have to post your meeting, and then every once in a while you have to, you have to make the Zoom link for the meeting to put into the meeting. It's a lot more work just to post a meeting,
Yeah.
because technology has improved how we post meetings.
Well, and again, is there a way
Well,
to?
has it really improved it?
And can that be incorporated into another job that can take that piece? It seems like department heads are having, well, you're probably, most department heads are not setting up meetings. But
It
it is
does make sense,
a,
though, if everybody could do their own.
yes.
I mean, I don't know what that means in terms of training everybody, and
Right,
Or if it was centralized and you gave it to, the
IT
administrative.
coordinator.
Yes, yeah, something to that, or one position who did that for everyone.
right,
We just be adding the hours to that position.
right.
Yeah. And I think we
Right.
have to
And I
accept,
think it makes more sense, like I know what goes on my different boards' agendas. I would then have to just give that information to somebody else, right?
right,
So,
Right.
so, so it's just like, there's just like, none of this stuff is going away. So, and there's just sort of a cost of doing it. So,
And-
so
okay.
we meet with the finance committee in the beginning of December.
Yep,
Um,
on the 12th,
yeah. Yeah,
yes. And so
So-
you bring up some really good points, and I think our job here is to review and update the job description, both yours and the assistant, I think.
Do we have a job description for the?
We do.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
yes, we've got them right here. Yes,
We don't necessarily, we look at job descriptions, we compare the job description with Marianne, it's just described to us. But we don't necessarily make a recommendation. Do we?
In regards to,
Regards to, we listen to Marianne, we looked at the job description and we agreed that, this, is a reasonable request and
Mhm.
should be given serious consideration.
yeah, I think that's what we do. And then the finance committee funds it.
Yes, or
so
doesn't.
so that's how it's established. So that creates the position once it goes through the FinCom, is what you're saying?
The FinCom will recommend the funding.
Yes, right.
Which
If they
then
can't,
is-
if they don't recommend the funding, then
The
somebody's
position
gonna
goes
have to
on.
try and add the funding at town floor if they
Okay.
can even do that. Town meeting.
That's always fun.
Okay.
So should I move that we support the additional do we do the additional hours, the additional hours for the,
Hours. Three
Yes.
additional
The
hours.
increase in the number of hours for the assistant.
and we'll also, as part of that, review the job description. Make
Yes,
sure it's in line with what's being done.
simultaneously reviewing that.
Yep.
Well, I'll vote in favor of that.
I'll second it.
Or seconding it.
Okay. So the next step goes to the FinCom. And
Right.
Right. Any comments before we vote?
I thought we just, yeah. I just want to make sure that 3 hours, I think Mary Ann's idea of starting at 3 and going up to 6, maybe later, she doesn't know, is a good idea, rather than asking for more. So I support her request in that regard.
You
So
know,
you're
it's a-
saying you support 3 hours in fiscal 25 and then going up to
Right.
6 in fiscal 26?
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's.
I
probably
would
makes
just
sense.
also add that, Mary Ann, you mentioned that the tech issues and the hybrid issues are also part of the work of the library programming. So I wouldn't want that piece to get lost. It's not just meetings, it is the library programming.
Right, thank
And
you,
that's
Ann.
going to
Yes.
continue too. So
Yes.
making it clear that it's very library specific
Mhm. Yes.
duties as
Yeah.
well, I think is important.
Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering if, the percent of increase in programming over, pre-pandemic to now would be extraordinary. That might be some data to
Mhm.
share.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so
Mary
do we want to vote then? Oh, go ahead.
No, that's okay. Yeah, we can vote. So Arvanitis, aye.
Ross, I.
Make
Brigham, I guess we're not, I was looking like,
No,
are we going out? Okay.
And
Don't
Stein,
worry
I.
about it, Ann.
April's always last. She's always last person.
I'm always last, except for some committees. Stein,
Okay,
I. Eisenstein, yes.
okay.
Marianne, I just want to ask you a quick question. The last time you talked about were packages that you're creating for families. Could you just tell me what that is again? I didn't get it in the minutes.
So I was talking about take home kits for families. So I did that really during the height of the pandemic. I did it the first summer of the pandemic. I made take home kits, 2 take home kits a week, one for younger kids, one for older kids, where they had, all of the materials in them to do some kind of a project. And then I did one a month during the school year. And then the following summer, I did sort of take home kits on steroids where I got a book, and I got some grant funding for this. So I got like an activity book, either a science experiment book or an art book or a journaling book. And then I got some of the materials to do some of the projects in the book. So they got these bags with a book, and then the materials needed to do the experiments or the projects in the books. And so that they could do that. And then and now this month we're doing a little dinosaur program. So in a bigger library or a library where you wanted people to hang out, but we're still not encouraging people to stay in the library for very long. Because it's so small. But so you might so it's Dino-vember. In November, toy dinosaurs come to life in libraries. And so we have families adopting dinosaurs and taking the toy dinosaurs home and reading to them. So
When you
because
said
they've
about-
all come to life and we can't keep up with reading them stories. It's just Cynthia and I. And
So how many of these
so-
kids? Oh, sorry.
yeah. So what was your question?
My question was, like, when you said you did the lower level ones, how many kits? It has lots of.
So I would usually do 8 to a dozen for each age group. So, so like 24 kits a week. During the height of it, we're going to give out 20 dinosaurs, and then when the dinosaurs are done, it'll be done. And I'm trying to cycle back into more in-person programming. We've got an in-person story time once a week. And then I try to do a family thing once a month. I've started bringing families gather once a month at the athletic club for a Taco Tuesday. and I've started bringing something to that. So the first month I brought Legos. This month I brought a different STEM toy that I have that, that a whole big group of kids can play with. So I'm doing that. We just had a Halloween program at the athletic club. I'm running a family fun run with the Road Town Turkey Trot this Saturday. We're going to have a scavenger hunt and story walks. We were putting up 3 story walks a week. Now we're just putting up 1, because people have gotten back into a normal life and they're back out in the world again. And then, we'll have a family program in December. So it's, anyway.
Okay, I got it. So that the take-home kits, a lot of the families really want you to continue to do that.
Yeah, but I can't do take home kits like I did before, and programming like I did before. So even that's hybrid. 1 month they get a take home kit, another month they get a program. And
Yeah.
and I think the take home kits is going to be something where it's like really 3 times a year. So I mean, I used CARES Act money to build some of the take home kits. So it's they could be really expensive. But they were awesome. So I would get pictures of kids doing the stuff. It was a lot of fun. So
Well, that's great.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you for
All right.
coming.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. And
Thank you, Maria.
Becky is the host, so you're all set.
We're all set.
So I can leave and
don't
you'll
see
still
Becky.
be in your meeting.
I
Okay.
hope so.
Well,
All right,
thanks,
and
Mary.
now book club is starting. I'm now gonna join the library book
You're
club.
only 4 minutes late.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Okay,
You.
okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Okay, and there's Gary.
Hey, Gary.
So I got a email today from Gary and Merrill, and I think George, didn't I send on to you the
Yeah.
PDF that Merrill had sent?
You mean
Yeah.
the file?
Yes, right, the change.
You didn't send that to everybody?
Yeah,
I don't know
I've
if
got
I
it.
Did you get it? Did
I
everybody?
got, Meryl sent it out.
Right.
Yeah, the job
But I don't
description.
know if everybody was on the list, because she didn't know about Anne, but I didn't check that. Did you get it, Melissa?
Oh, let me see if I got it. Did she send it to?
It was today. And I got it. I
Sometimes
think I
people
got
send it to
on-
my select board. Sometimes they send it to this other
Oh,
email.
well, see, I didn't send it out because I sent it to George and I thought maybe he could put it on the screen for us. Is that
Oh.
possible, George?
Well, I can do that. Sure. I'm gonna,
That would be
so
great.
I can send it to everybody though, too.
Okay,
Yeah.
well. Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be
I
good.
don't see it.
Also, if we can see it on the screen, I think it would be
Yep,
good.
George, your co-host, you can share.
Okay, all right, let me share. Let me get it open.
That would be
Becky had
great.
to duck out. She had a bit of an emergency with her family, so it
Okay.
was just us.
All right,
So Gary,
too bad.
Gary Bernhard, welcome.
Glad to be here.
Yeah. Gary, here we go.
Well, thank you.
Wait. No,
can
that's,
everybody see it? Okay.
is that
Yeah.
it? No, that's not it, is it?
Yeah,
Job
that's it.
description
Recycling
for
coordinator.
It is.
recycling coordinator?
I was
That's it.
looking for, yep, I was looking for all the red and it turned to blue, I think. Whatever.
Oh, yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I can't help
Well,
you there.
Gary, yeah, Gary, it's fine, it works. Gary, do you want to sort of give us an introduction to this?
Well, as you see it, the the job description hadn't been revised since 2009, when I became recycling coordinator. And back then we had bulky waste day and all kinds of stuff. Things have changed a bit. And so Meryl and I updated the job description to the best of our ability, and there it is. So happy to take any any questions or anything that
Well,
you might have about it.
I would like to preface it by the fact that Gary is going to no longer be living in town. And we'll
What?
miss him. Yeah,
horrible.
that's what's going on. And I think that we're gonna lock the doors and he'll have to not be able to leave. But
Well,
Yes.
I've said that I'm willing to work with the next person for as long as it takes. We're not going far. We're going to Montague, where our daughter and her husband live, and we're going to be almost next door to them.
Oh, nice.
And that's sort of a holding pattern. We just today found out that we have a condo at Greensleeves, but we can't go there. We can't go there because they big dogs, and so we're moving to a place in Montague for a while, and then moving into Greenleaves. So it's getting up there, and so we're trying to find a place where we don't have to shovel snow or
Mow the lawn.
mow lawns or anything like that. So
And
looks like that's in the cards, but it's gonna be a while because we want our dog to last as long as he possibly can.
yeah.
He's
Oh,
a great
yes.
dog.
He's an awesome dog.
And
Well, you're going to be missed, Gary.
yeah, you
Thank
will
you.
be. You will be, as will Joanne. This position is a funded position, correct?
Not in
Yes.
the budget.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's funded from a revolving account, right?
I don't know.
I don't know where it comes from, frankly. And the revolving fund is what we use for things like bag sales, and bin sales when we get recycling bins and compost bins, and that all goes into the recycling fund.
Yeah, so the position is on the budget, as you can see, but there's no funding for it. And
Oh.
it says revolving fund there.
Oh, that's interesting.
Becky might be the one who
I've
can
been
answer the
getting
question,
paid,
but
so it must be
Yeah,
on there somewhere.
so where do your revenues come from, Gary? You
Where does
said
what? The
from the-
revenues? Well, we have several. Well, we have three actually main things that we do. We get a grant, or I have gotten a grant from the DEP for the last several years. It amounts to about between $2,000 and $3,000. That goes into the revolving fund. We hand out, as you all know, we hand out 50 packs of bags, or 50 bags each year to every household, or as many as they request, up to 50. And then people have to buy bags if they need additional bags after that. And so we sell them out of town hall and also out of the Leverett Co-op. And that money goes into the revolving fund. And then every year we get bins. We get recycling bins and compost bins. And that usually comes out of the grant that we get. And then we sell them back for about half price to the town to encourage recycling and getting rid of materials. And so it's those are our main revenues. And I can't tell you how much it amounts to, but it's a pretty good sum. Oh, there is one other one. We also have the Leverett transfer station stickers that we sell, and that's we pay the Leverett $3,000 a year to be able to use their excuse me, their transfer station. And then anything above that goes into the revolving fund. And every year that we've done this, we have made more money than we pay Leverett. And so that's helps, to get the trash bags and the bins and that kind of stuff.
And
Do
we
you know how
also
much
get,
we're paying the coordinator?
Pardon me?
Do you know how much?
I was made coordinator in 2009.
Yeah,
But
and
how
how
much-
much?
you make 2,000 a year, correct?
That's about what it is. Yeah, I think it was 1900 when I started, and then I've gotten another $100 or so over the years.
So
It
it's
is
low
it is
enough so that
it's not it's not going to make anybody wealthy.
no,
It's
but the point is, it's low enough that the revolving fund, all those revenue sources are probably adequate to sustain.
I think it covers my
Yeah, okay.
my $2,000.
That would explain why it's not in the budget.
Yeah,
Right. It's in the revolving fund, right?
And there's also the money that comes in from the clothing collection facility at the DPW. We get money from that as well, correct?
I'm not sure that goes into our revolving fund. We'd have to ask Becky
Oh.
about that. But
Yeah, okay.
but yes, that we negotiated that. That's been a real hit, as a matter of fact. That's done very well. And we get 7 cents a pound for whatever people put in the bin. And they do collect it, sometimes I have to call them. People will email me and say it's full, people are leaving stuff outside. No, so I'll have to get in touch with CMark, and they come the very next day. They've been really good about that.
So you wear a lot of hats.
yeah.
Well, it's become, I guess, as recycling has become more complex with changes in what landfills and incinerators will accept. And that's happened pretty regularly over the years, like mattresses, for example. We used to be able to take mattresses to the incinerator. For years, we were using the incinerator, and then that went out of business. And now with Casella, they are trucking things to a landfill in New York.
Mhm.
And not my favorite kind
Mm.
of thing, but it turned out to be the best deal we could get, is to work with Casella.
Mhm.
And we
So,
still have problems every other week or so, but that's part of the job.
George, can you just scroll down? Does this? Oh, that's the end of it.
Pardon me? I'm sorry. Didn't hear
That's,
that.
oh no,
Nope, there's more.
okay.
Uh,
Does it have on here, sorry, I didn't get this. Does it have on here, Gary, did you try to estimate like average hours per week or month or anything like that?
It really varies.
Yeah.
For example, when we were a year ago, it's actually a couple of years ago now,
Oh, there it is.
when we were looking for a new hauler, that was a lot of work because we had
Yeah.
to develop the RFP, we had to send it out, we had to interview people who were interested, and then we had to sort of break them in a little bit and get them used to the town. They had to know all of the roads. They had to know what happens in winter, all of those things. And we were lucky. We only had 2 bids, and Casella was the only one that would work with us in the way that we were used to working. In other words, they were okay with the dual stream collection, which is containers one week and paper stuff the next week. And they had a backloader truck, and the other the other company that bid wanted to do it all automatically, and we didn't think that was possible, especially in some of the roads. You wouldn't be able to in the winter to go down Wendell Road with those automatic trucks
Right.
and lift the trash up and stuff.
or
So
Cooley- with something like Cooleyville.
yeah, yeah.
How would you do that? Yeah, not.
Well, we wouldn't. We had that. That's why we picked Casella.
So why run the subject? So how's it going? I mean, Casella is happy with the arrangement and there's no complaints from them.
Well, no complaints from Casella. I mean, this is part of the job, frankly, is fielding all the complaints of people who didn't get picked up. And sometimes it's their fault. The bags are too heavy. They got them out late. And sometimes it's Casella's fault. they just passed by, or there's the truck broke down, or we've had a lot of problems, and that's just par for the course. With this business, they have one truck. They actually have two trucks, and one's in reserve. And so when a truck goes down, they have a hard time filling in. And so we've had several situations like that. But it's again, it's part of the job. And when I get a complaint, I inform Casella, and they're very responsive. They're
How long
really
is the contract for? When does it expire?
Pardon me?
When does the contract expire?
3 more years.
Oh, good.
Oh,
It's a 5-year
four-year
contract.
It's a 4-year contract?
5-year
5 years.
contract.
5-year, okay,
We're in our 2nd year.
yeah.
So do you think these 2 to 6 hours, I think to Ann's question, is that still reasonable?
Well, you mean throughout the year, 2 to 6 hours?
Yeah, on average.
Actually, I mean, sometimes there's not much work at all. I get a few complaints. I email, but in the spring, there's the grant proposal that goes to the DEP, and that's time consuming. That takes a lot of time. I have to get statistics of our trash and our recycling. I have to, and then go all the way through it. It took a couple of years, but I finally got them to realize that the deal we have with the Leverett transfer station was really a great thing. And so they actually gave us credit for that. And we started to get a better grants from that. So but that's time consuming. So it's really sporadic. And you meet with the recycling committee, but the recycling committee probably meets less than any committee in town. But when we get close to the spring and we need to develop the bag distribution schedule, and we need to know who's doing what, so then we have to take a little time for that. So the spring's kind of busy. The bags come in, we've got to get the bags in the shed, we've got to start distributing bags. So that's much more time consuming than other times of the year. So it's hard to say how many hours, how many hours a week that would boil down to.
The
Do you
bag
think we should just,
distribution though it's not the job that you've been doing. I mean, the whole committee's been doing the bag distribution and stuff, but your job is to get us organized, you and Merrill, basically, for that piece.
Yeah, there's an organization aspect to this too.
Right.
And I've worked very closely with Merrill on getting things organized with the committee, getting the bags, getting them unloaded at the shed, getting every year, the folks in Greenfield do a big recycling bin sale. And so we buy bins, and again, we buy them out of the revolving fund. And then we sell them for a little more than half price. And the same with with compost bins. And that we're trying to encourage people to use the bins, to recycle, and I drive around periodically, and I look to see who's recycling and who isn't on a given day. Everybody ought to be recycling on collection day, but sometimes there are no recyclables out there. So, and I don't. When I first got this job, I was really interested in talking to people about recycling. And so I would write them letters and I'd say, I'll come to your house and help you do a recycling program. And I never got an answer. So I don't travel around as much as I used to, but actually Shutesbury does a good job. We're nearly at 40% recycling for the waste stream, which is really good in the state. Love to see it get up near 50 or above. But people are, and you know, years ago, some of you remember years ago we did a survey of people. How many bags did they use, and did they compost? And 70% of the people who answered, you know, who did the survey, did composting in town. So Shutesbury's good. Shutesbury's doing well.
All right.
Another aspect, pardon me?
Just offhand, it sounds
Yeah.
like 2 to 6 is underestimating the amount of hours on
That's what
average.
I would agree, April.
Yeah,
I,
Yeah, I
it
agree. as
just,
well.
if you're gonna advertise this position, you know, and somebody takes the job and then they say, this isn't 6 hours a week, this is closer to 12, then where are you?
But it's only closer to 12 at certain times of the year.
Right,
And
but I
then
mean,
there
Carrie,
are other
I've been on
times-
the receiving end of your great emails where you're like, the truck broke down, and then I see you post on Nextdoor, so I would think even in an off week, you must easily spend 2 hours.
Well,
Yeah.
he said some weeks he doesn't.
Oh yeah, there are easily 2 hours a week.
Oh, all right.
Because if I, you know, what I try to do is remind people when it's going to be a holiday. You know, I send
Mhm.
stuff out in in Nextdoor and in Town Announce. And I think that's not even in there, but I just decided to do that because I was getting calls, you know, well, is it paper or is it, so I, you know, or is it a holiday? How come, you know, how come the collector, Casella, doesn't recognize this holiday or that holiday? So anyway, it's but none of it is really overwhelming. I mean, there are some times of the year, like I say, you know, when things come in, it's not, you know, nobody's gonna do this for the money, you know.
She might be.
They're
able to-
gonna do it because, you know, it's something that needs to be done.
She is supposed to do it, but she's not here.
Right. It's almost a volunteer position.
It is.
Okay, hang on,
It is.
I'm gonna mute myself.
I could call.
Well,
And the little known fact is that you really get to meet a lot of people over the phone or online.
most
because
of them happy, not all of them happy.
Not all of them happy,
Hmm.
but we try to leave them happy.
Well, so I guess my question is, do you think with the revolving fund, we can still, even if we would increase the hours per week, would the revolving fund cover it, do we
Well,
think?
we're only increasing the hours per week to equal what he's doing. We're not talking about increasing the stipend. We're just trying to get an accurate number there. That's all, right?
Right. No, the stipend is what it is.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, and it's I think it's near 2,000, maybe a little more, but
As
I
I
happen
mentioned,
to-
we just want it to be realistic.
yeah.
right,
Mhm.
right. But I'm hoping somebody from the committee will come forward, because at least they know, you know, the ropes of the bag distribution and those kinds of things. But it hasn't happened yet, but it hasn't been posted yet either. So maybe someone will
Somebody's
will
thinking
step
about it.
forward. Yeah. And I've said this to the select board and to Becky, but I'm not going far, and I'm willing to work with whoever the new coordinator is through, you know, bag distribution and also the grant writing process, because that is a little cumbersome. Yeah, there's a special retract thing that the state puts out that we have to use. You have to get familiar with that, and then you have to get the all of the stats from recycling and trash disposal and put those in. And so I'd be happy to work with the new coordinator on those
Thank you.
issues.
Thank you for that.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so generous, really.
Appreciated.
So you've done this for
Should we-
14 years?
Pardon me?
You've done this for 14 years?
Oh, more than
Done it
that.
since, well, I was on the committee. I was on the original committee in 1989.
Ah,
And so I've been doing trash for a long time.
That's 34 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Wow.
Meryl, you and Meryl have worked together for many years. I mean, Meryl,
she was on that original committee too.
right,
Wow.
Yeah,
I
1989.
guess we are getting old, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Been here a
All right,
long-
so eh,
Let's
gonna
go
leave it?
through, want to go through the job description and see if anybody,
well, are we all set on the hours?
Uh,
Leave it as is?
2 to 8, 2 to
Yeah,
8.
I think, you know what, I'd leave it that way because in the summer, I don't do anything unless there's a complaint, you know. In
what about all
And
your
the-
trips to Springfield though, Gary? You do go to Springfield a bit.
Well, that's what I added at the bottom. There's one, it's not there. Participates in state DEP webinars and live information sessions. That's an important part to stay connected with what the state's doing and what the region's doing. We have a regional DEP coordinator, Susan Waite, whom some of you may know, and she is fantastic. And she has now that we're all doing Zoom, she has maybe every 2 months she'll have a group get together and just talk about issues, things that are going on. That's great. And then the state, I just had one a couple of days ago, that the state is doing one on changes in what the state is going to be doing in terms of trash. What can be put in the trash, what can be put in landfills, what can't be, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's part of the job too. You just keep up on what's happening in the field.
But are you including that in your 2 to 6 hours? Do you include
Well,
that?
the salary's what it is, Peg. It's not gonna, I don't think it's gonna change.
Okay,
But I'm, it's something that our recycling coordinator needs to do, is to be connected with what's happening in the state and in the region.
I don't think, Peg, you weren't asking about the salary, you were just asking about the hours, right?
yeah, I'm talking about the hours. Are you including that time in your hours, Gary?
Well, I
The time
don't,
you spend-
Peg, I don't keep track of my hours, frankly.
Okay,
And so I don't even know
okay.
how many hours I spend in a year or in
And
a month.
are you driving down to Springfield for those kinds of meetings, less than you used to because of Zoom?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, I haven't been to a live meeting in a long time.
okay, because I remember you going down there quite a bit. So, yeah, so that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, I used to go, I mean, when I was younger, I used to go to the state, they had whole state symposia where people came from all around the state and talked. And those sort of fell by the wayside during COVID. And they're just starting to come up again. And I haven't been to any because I've been doing the Zooms. And that seems to be sufficient because, the DEP, there are some really good people in the Department of Environmental Protection who are concerned about recycling, concerned about reuse. And that's where this dividends program came about, is that if you do some of these things, you get a grant. And so I think the most we've gotten is about $2,800, but it's always above 2,000 now. But they keep changing the requirements, and so that's another one coming up. Is the changes in the grant and what your grant proposals are going to need to do. So that one's coming up, and I'm attending that one. That's next month.
Oops. You've got that here.
Is there anything about with the job that you do, is it required that with the job that you do, you have to be living in town? Could you live out of town, like in Monaco, and continue this job?
Well, I think it's really important for the recycling coordinator to be a town person, because you do get a lot of calls.
Yeah, I understand, but I just thought maybe until we find somebody willing to do it. Just a thought.
Well, but the thing is, if Gary doesn't leave, how are you going to get somebody to want to do it?
Well,
Right.
that's the question. But I'll tell you what. Here's the deal. I'll do it until you find somebody else.
Yeah, and being able to help anybody who's willing to do it transition is huge. That's going to make it attractive, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it is, it's good work. It's good work.
It's rewarding, right?
Yeah, it is. It really is. And I was kind of joking about meeting people, but I've really met a lot of people who learned a lot about trash and recycling. When they call to complain, we have conversations, and
It's becoming more and more important too.
and I've delivered recycling bins to people who don't have cars, for the elderly, and so it's
That's great, Gary.
it's kind of nice. It's I've enjoyed it.
Oh,
I've enjoyed it.
True public servant.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked over all these changes. I don't really have any questions.
No, I don't either.
I don't either.
And if
Okay.
if any questions come up, I think this is about as close to the job description as it gets.
Mhm.
But the recycling, as a recycling coordinator, one has to be flexible because things change. A truck breaks down. You remember earlier in the year when we started the new fiscal year, Casella had made a mistake on the calendar, on the collection calendar.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and that was a mess, and so we had to straighten that out and say, okay, we're going to do 2 weeks of this in a row, and then we'll be on
Right.
track. And
Do you
that
have,
means communicating with the town. That means getting the word out through town announce and next door, so
and
people
Gary, oh, sorry.
no, go
Do
ahead.
you have anything on here about hazardous waste? Were you also the hazardous waste coordinator for our town?
I guess so. I when we got that announcement from Casella that the one trash load,
Oh, yeah.
the first one, I think what they do is run the truck through a Geiger counter, and they found the excuse me, the waste in one of the thing, and then they actually found out where it came from, and Becky went and talked to that person, and it seemed odd, and then it happened again. And what I'm going to do, I'm working on now, is gathering information for something for the newsletter, the town newsletter, about difficult hazardous wastes, because there are some, like nuclear waste is one, and there are other ones. What do you do with your fluorescent light bulbs now that we're not taking them anymore in town? Where do you take them, and where do you take plastic bags, and things like that that people have trouble with? And I want to put something together for the newsletter that has all that stuff.
Oh,
Is
that would
that
be
stuff on the
awesome.
website?
Well, that's the other thing that you do, is write stuff for the newsletter.
Gary,
Gary?
I mean, really, I would just urge you to think 3 to 6 hours a week, even, because I mean, I think one of the things you're saying is you do a lot of community outreach, and that can expand. So you said, oh, I'm interested in telling people about this. Well, there could be some recycling issue that comes up in a year,
Right.
So I mean,
Right.
it's such great work that you're doing, and I can't imagine a week where it couldn't get to 3 hours if somebody wanted it to do that, or the average, but from what you're saying,
Yeah, I
it's
don't
a
know
lot of
about the
work.
average. It's probably about 5 to 8 hours a week, the average. Sometimes much more. You can spend a whole day getting that that grant proposal out.
Yeah.
And so, but it evens out. It's probably good to look for somebody who's retired.
Allows for the flexibility certainly during the day. Right?
That's
Yeah,
right.
and
That's
retired
right.
people can always use a little extra income,
So
$2,000.
are you still sticking with 5 to 8 or 2 to 6? You just said
Oh,
5 to 8.
just stick with 2 to 6 at this point.
Okay,
Or
okay.
maybe,
And you can keep pushing, you're not gonna
I
win.
know. I just want him to raise the 2 to a 3. I just.
how about 4 to 6? How about
So, are
4
you
to
gonna add a
6?
line about the hazardous waste?
Yeah. It's a good
You mean
point.
in this,
Yeah,
on
your
this,
answer to Peg, do you think you should add a line
I
for
didn't
that?
see it. Did you, where? Sorry, say
well,
that. again.
you're right. You're right. There is
No, it's
one.
not here. You should add a line for that.
It isn't there, and I
Oh.
forgot to put it in. But every year, Amherst has a hazardous waste disposal day. And if somebody from Shutesbury goes and helps out, we save the town $300.
Yeah.
And so I've been doing that. Meryl's done it. It's not a big deal. It goes from 9 to 12 on a Saturday, one time a year. But yes, I should have put that in there.
It should be in
Okay.
there.
Okay, and Gary, when I read through this, I see a number of places where you say you coordinate with the committee, with the RSWC. We're collaborating with the committee and the community to increase recycling, work with the committee for the RFPs, note 3, coordinates, distributes information to the committee. But what about assigning duties and that kind of thing? I see here there's no responsibility as far as supervision, and I understand that. They're not
Right.
direct reports, they're not salaried, but in terms of coordinating the operation, who does what kind of thing, I don't really see something like that in here.
Let me give you an example. Meryl and I work really closely together. She's chair of the committee, and so together we set up a bag distribution schedule. And then we meet with the committee and say, okay, here's the schedule. Who's going to do which days? And we set that up, make sure that it's covered.
So it's more the chair's responsibility.
Yeah, it's the chair, but we work together on it.
Yeah.
Okay, but all right, but it would be more, it's not necessarily appropriate here because the chair is really the one responsible.
Right.
Okay, good. That's good.
Yep.
Could the chair be also be the coordinator?
She doesn't want to be.
No, you already asked.
Just a way to ask.
All right, good try though. I was thinking the same thing.
She's a
Good
smart
try.
woman. She's
Right.
smart.
Oh yeah, and she's dedicated.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
wears a lot of hats already, so.
Yes.
Yeah.
So can you move down, George, under supervisory responsibilities? Is there anything we need to look
Well,
at?
I don't
there?
have any. I don't supervise anybody.
Yeah.
I have a question, Gary, do those, I've lifted those boxes of trash bags. Those aren't 40 pounds, are they? Wouldn't you say 30
No.
pounds?
I don't know.
Well,
what
that's
40
okay. If they ever
are.
grow, we'll have it covered.
That was
I
on the
think this is-
original.
This
That
is
was on the very original one. It might have had to do with bulky waste day.
it actually is it's standard across, I think, all.
I was just gonna ask. Yeah.
okay.
Oh,
that's
is
what
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our standard language. I was about to look at another job description for that.
And
All
is
right,
it-
so,
That's-
other than the addition of the hazardous waste, I'm fine with this.
Right.
Um,
Do you want me to send you a statement about hazardous waste,
Oh,
or do you just put it in? You say coordinates with the Amherst.
right,
I don't know what his title is, but
Or
with
if
the
you just send
Amherst.
us just
Yeah.
finish it and send us the final one without all the edits on it. Here's the final one. The only difference
Yeah.
between this and that will be that additional line, and I think we're good.
Okay, so we'll send it to you guys. I'll check it out with Meryl, add it, and then we'll send the final to you guys.
okay, great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Do we need to approve this as a committee, or is this all?
I think
Yeah.
I think we can. Why not?
All right. I make a motion that we approve the recycling coordinator job description with the additional line for the hazardous waste
Bulk
material
hazardous,
responsibility.
Or maybe just saying, and as revised on November 2023.
Yes.
Because it's,
Well, as revised on November 2023 would include the hazardous waste. We don't have to specify that.
Right, right.
yeah,
Okay, okay,
it's,
Okay,
so
good.
moved.
Okay, we'll get that to you tomorrow.
and I'll second.
Aye. From-
Aye.
Aye.
Make peace in the eye.
And Stein, aye.
Fucking.
Arvanites.
Okay,
We're being very formal.
We
Okay.
are.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Thank you
Gary.
so much.
Good
Thanks,
luck in your
Gary.
new digs.
Thanks a lot. I'm
Thanks.
not leaving right away, so I'll see you
Does
again.
Amanda have children?
Bye-bye.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Does Amanda have children? Do you guys know?
Amanda, his daughter?
Yes.
No, they don't have any grandchildren.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he gets to live next to his grandchildren. How great would that be?
Yeah,
Sounds
oh, I
great.
see what you're saying, yeah. No, it just sort of came up and, they just need to, their house isn't suited for where they are in their living situation.
Yeah, no, Marty and I talk about that all the time, 2 stories
Yeah.
versus 1.
It's
Yep.
funny, my in-laws lived at Green Leaves for a year.
Yeah, John did. I remember that. And then he moved to Chicopee.
It was for him, not for her.
Yeah.
Well, you know him. He's social, very social.
Yeah, he's very social.
Yes.
Okay, so moving on. Where are we on the agenda?
Oh, I closed the agenda.
I think
Oh,
we're
this-
up to the highway superintendent.
Yes, we are, which you sent us. Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
You're welcome. I
Thank you,
I
April.
finally got the description of the tree warden folded
Mhm.
into the highway
Highway
department
super. Yeah.
superintendent, yes.
And so you had on, let's see. On the second page, oh no, third page, I guess. I had to print this out because it's easier for me to have it printed.
Probably would be for me too. Where is it? Oh,
so
yeah, I
tree
got it.
warden is on page 2.
George, do you have that one you can toss up or no?
Oh, yeah. You want me to pull that up on the screen too?
That'd be great.
Yeah, you're gonna see my things in it, but okay. Let me, I'm a little lost here, but I will find.
Yeah, but
What's in yellow is kind of the things I was gonna mention, the things that I noticed. I just want to ask about, but.
Well, let's start with those then. Why not start with those?
Well, we'll just go right down it.
Yeah.
So we're changing, the department has officially changed its name?
No, but of Public Works was there for a reason, and Becky had said when we were when we did the hiring
interview.
committee, we talked about it, and it was something specific to the state of Massachusetts,
Because of some of the activities in our town?
I think, and I don't remember exactly.
A
April,
lot
do you
of it,
remember?
as I remember, a lot of these changes or suggestions were driven by Merrill and her expertise in the field and saying that we needed these particular ways of describing things.
Yeah, it makes sense. That does make sense. Why is it in brackets though?
Oh, see, this is my fancy way of trying to show the changes
Oh, I
without
see.
really
So
knowing how to
It
do
won't
it.
necessarily be in brackets.
No,
Okay.
it shouldn't be in brackets.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay,
Suggestion.
Now we know the system.
Yeah, my system, I use the Mac word processor and
Oh,
it's
that's
not as,
easy.
it's horrible. And I just need to get the word Mac, the word, whatever it is. Anyway,
Okay.
so that's why those weird little things. I was thinking, as I was doing it, I was thinking Melissa would know how to do this.
Yes, I would
You
go in
would.
and use a Google Doc.
Yeah.
If I had a Mac.
All right, something, okay, anyway,
No, but it's fine, April. We know that it was
you,
no.
you got it.
why don't you
fine.
just sort of walk us through this, April, just as.
Well, it's a pretty short walk. Most of the job description, it remains the same with, you know, a couple of these specific, you know, it's the Highway Department of Public Works that was a strong suggestion that we change that. And I can't scroll down.
Well, before we do, I wanted to ask about why the salary range isn't posted.
I'm not sure.
Oh, that's a good question.
It's not on, is it on any? I'm looking at all, I've got a bunch of job descriptions here.
Hang on, I think it was, I want to say it was on the original. Hold on one second. I got it in my select board account. One second.
Don't think it was.
It may not have been.
No, I'm not seeing it on any of our,
We typically have it on there, right? We don't leave them blank.
I think when we're sending, you know,
Because I thought we had the discussion that we really wanted to advertise it when we're looking for a position. To fill a
yes,
You want
position.
someone to know where they're going to fit.
Yes,
and yes,
what we're offering.
I think
Oh,
if I
I
have
did
it.
find the job description. Hold on one second. I don't, oh, well,
I'm not seeing it on any of the ones
no,
that
there's no
I've got here.
attachment, so that wasn't helpful.
Blank? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I'm not seeing it in any of this. So that would be something for us to change.
But I also think, April, I think that was part of our discussion in that hiring committee too, was that it would be helpful to have.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so,
we don't have that generally in any of our job descriptions.
oh,
Well, that's more of a policy we need to make across town. Do we want
Yes,
that in job descriptions? Maybe we can put
Yeah.
that in the agenda for a conversation in the future.
I think that's a really good
Yeah, that's a
idea,
great idea.
because we
I'd
have
like
the
Becky to
salary
weigh
ranges.
in on that.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
think
we
Becky
don't
would like
have
to
it.
weigh in on that.
Yes, I think she would.
I was
Yeah,
just
they-
trying to see if we had it listed in the, nope, not on that one. We had it listed in the advertisement for the position, but I don't see the,
But I remember we had this conversation and I thought she had requested that we put them in here,
Yeah,
if I
think she
remember
did.
correctly.
yeah.
and they're not on any of the job descriptions. I've got a bunch here and they're none of them.
Yeah.
do we know if Becky's coming back tonight or not?
I don't
Sound
think
like
she
it.
is. I don't believe
Family
she will be.
emergency. Won't count on it.
But we
Okay,
can certainly ask her, you know.
yeah, so let's
Yeah.
just, let's ask about that, and then George, can you scroll down and we'll. Mm,
So no changes here.
No,
There is on the second page, no, keep going. Is responsible for implementing highway improvement. Oh, here, down here, I'm pointing to my screen. Mass Department of DOT, State Aid Engineer, and April put it in with a question mark afterwards. Who got the balloons? Did
Yeah,
you-
what was that?
What was that?
oh
Did
no,
it-
are we being hacked?
I don't know, but there were balloons flying. Where
In
did you
front of
see?
you.
Yeah,
Did you hit an emoji or something?
no. Nope.
Or
We're not getting hacked, I don't think.
Hands in the air.
no?
No, I don't see anything coming in as a hacker.
Well,
I'm on
thank-
that.
Plans and
that's weird. Well, anyway, where you had state aid engineer question mark,
I'm
April.
not sure why I have that question mark. I think
Maybe it was the official title you were questioning.
that
Yes,
might have been
That
it.
makes sense.
Okay.
Or whether to capitalize DOT.
Yes.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, DOT has to be capitalized there.
Oh, it does. Oh my God.
That's it, April. We can't have you editing anymore.
Oh, thank God.
Sorry, April. I do have a couple of very easy editing things.
Okay,
It looks like it's the past tense of established, when I think it should be establishes. C, the top
is
line
that?
Oh,
C,
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
establishes priorities, and then further down, establishes and updates.
where do I
Oh,
get that?
and A under,
Yeah, A under.
Yeah, I know it's hard because
there's-
it's like they
It's
don't.
right here. This one
Right
needs to be
there, yeah.
fixed.
Yep, and George, the one
Okay.
above it, it's the top line. Yep, you got it.
Those
And
two need to
oh,
be
man.
changed with an S. D is right next to S on the keyboard. It happens all the time.
I know.
And then your established just disappeared. You're shading on the.
Establishes, yes,
Yeah, the next one down.
yeah. That
That
makes
one there.
sense.
And this one here.
Okay.
And
Oh,
And I
it's
want to,
up above. Now they're
Yeah.
both gone.
you want me to change? You don't want me to change these, right? You're changing these, April.
I can change it.
Yeah,
I'll-
you've
I
got the
can make-
original.
Yes,
Hey, April, if once you're done, send it to me. I'll format it.
you'll clean it up.
Clean it.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
That's what I was thinking
Sir,
of doing this.
That's my stickler thing.
I know. Thank
Uh,
God somebody has that, Jean.
Yeah, good.
I had a question in this line here. I added this in committees. It's just a technicality. It's not just boards, it's committees
yes,
and
yes,
No, it
everything
yes.
else.
is. It's committee.
Yep.
Yep. Yep, you're right.
And then I don't know, do we have a 5-year capital plan? I know we have a long-range capital plan, but I don't know if we call it a 5-year capital plan.
How about
The
changing
capital
it to
planning
long
committee.
range?
Yeah, so this should be
Yes.
probably be long-range capital plan.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Okay,
Because I think it goes much longer. I've seen the capital plan and it's pretty big.
I think we've tried doing 5 years, George, and it expands anyway.
Yeah, okay, is that what it is? I really don't know. I'm not on that
I
committee.
think we've tried for 5 years before, and then, it just keeps rotating to larger and larger, longer and longer.
yeah.
So let's put in.
Because some assets don't last longer than 5 years.
Mm.
But you want to keep a record of their replacement when you're going to replace them, like a fire truck or a tractor.
Yeah.
So that's long range.
Let me see what else.
H, engages contractors, add question mark.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, so I'm wondering, I didn't see anything about working with contractors. There's responsible for improvements on projects. But I mean, a lot of times, like the paving is outsourced.
Right.
I didn't see anything about, I see coordinating with the DOT, I see coordinating with the select board, but I didn't see anything about, hiring outside firms to do some of the work.
Yes.
He would do that if there was specialty maintenance or something on those machines. That you might
Right,
have
and-
some machining done. A contractor for delivery of salt and sand trucking.
So do you think we should add
Right.
another, something like this?
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like, the contractor who's fixing the tractor.
Right.
That's
Right,
something
yeah,
that he's
mechanics,
doing.
working with, that's right. They've
Yeah.
got people all the time doing.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I was thinking we should have a line like that.
And what happens in G? Oh,
Well, yeah, I don't know why I highlighted that. To tell you the truth. Maybe I highlighted it to point out that it needs to be fixed, but I think Melissa's on it.
Oh, she is so
Yeah.
on it.
I will.
She's fixing it right now in her brain.
Prepares plans for coordination or his designee regards improvements related to construction and suggest possible alternative funding sources. Yeah, I don't think I was questioning that. I think it
No,
was probably just wanted to point out the edit.
no, I think what was happening when I added the tree warden piece, that I couldn't get the things to line
Auto.
up, and I think it impacted other things. That's what happened, because on my copy, that is cleaner with the ABC.
Oh, okay, all right.
I
It's
don't
just
know
when
what-
it converts to Word, some of the format. is lost.
Yes, it's a terrible program. Just to let you know.
Well, Word has its own little. quirk.
So we got the tree warden description.
Yeah,
Control trees.
yeah, that's the alignment on that is off.
Yeah, it'll be fixed.
You got that.
Why does it say shade trees? Isn't it all trees?
Yeah, I wondered that too.
I was wondering about that because it sounds like it's a park, a public.
That's
Isn't it?
that's how it's written in the tree warden, but I had the same thought.
Some trees don't provide shade when there's no leaves on them.
No,
All public trees.
Yeah, I would take out the shade part.
yeah,
Well,
don't
if they're pruning, I mean, some of the stuff they're probably pruning is bittersweet, right? I don't
Yeah, it's
don't
true.
think
It's
of
more
that
than
as a shade
trees.
tree.
Maybe we should change it to public.
Well,
shrub-
actually, but it's the
shrubs
tree
and
warden.
trees. Yeah,
it is, yeah.
Oh,
But
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
trees specifically is the tree warden. The highway department will do all the
you know,
other
the
stuff.
bittersweet, yeah.
That's right. They've been doing the knotweed.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, maybe just leave it as trees.
Well, I did have a question just about the placement of that then, April and Melissa, because it looks like this is the beginning of a new role.
Yes, it is.
Then overseas personnel is really going back to the highway department. So
Maybe it should be.
because
at
it
the
says tree warden shall be responsible, but everything else is in the present tense, like they are responsible.
Yeah.
So
So maybe moving, you might be onto something, and maybe moving the tree warden down below. George, can you scroll a little?
yeah, it just,
Maybe something like as tree warden. Would that,
yeah,
Or tree warden, yeah,
And
as
put-
tree warden.
yeah,
but to Melissa's point, I wonder if it is good to take it out of the middle there and put it,
Yeah, put it,
where should it be?
Oh, so essential duties and responsibilities, oversees maintenance of roads, responsible for
Perform-
maintenance and repair of town equipment, perform special projects, responsible for implementing highway,
So maybe just adding.
is
as
the tree warden.
As tree
Yeah.
warden,
Yeah, or has tree warden responsibilities.
yes.
I think
Colon.
I think it's a full designation though for him.
But
As
it's like
he-
all these other,
Yes.
right,
He's taking a course.
It's
in
like
it.
him being the superintendent, he's also the tree warden, so it's like
yeah.
a dual role.
so you're thinking that's more appropriate than if we did something down
Yeah.
here.
Maybe,
He's overseeing personnel as the superintendent, right, Melissa?
Yes,
Yeah, not as the tree warden.
but the tree warden
maybe that, yeah, maybe.
is
tree
part
warden
of
at that.
his responsibilities.
Right.
So,
And then
So
before other. Because the other is just kind
yeah,
of.
I agree. No, I absolutely agree with that.
And
Okay.
That's what I was trying to do.
How about tree warden is responsible rather than shall be, because everything else is
Yes.
responsible.
Shall fits with the Mass General Law statement, I think.
yes.
So I
But
think we have to have shall in there.
Oh, see, that's, yeah.
No.
And that's one of the things that made it stand out to me as like a separate.
Mhm.
Maybe
position
you want to
than
make a
these things.
period and then just do this.
Yeah,
Yep,
I'll be responsible for, maybe even make it a bullet item for that matter.
yep.
yeah.
Got
I
that,
think
April?
that's a good idea.
I got it. Oh, boy, I'm on it.
You're all over it. Okay,
I'm
good.
all over it like glue.
All right. So this is
Okay.
where we left off. So we'll get the tree warden later now.
I just had a question about line 1 under overseas personnel. Is it, right now it's 1 employee? 'Cause it's
Yes,
apostrophe S?
there's supposed to be
Yeah.
2 full-time employees, and then there are part-time at certain times of the year. So it's unusual for.
Oh, the superintendent has more than one employee.
Yeah,
Not
so I
right
think it
now.
just needs to be made, I think it needs to be S apostrophe.
The apostrophe
Employee,
after the
yep.
S.
Yeah.
Where are we looking
Yeah,
now?
where are we?
Right here,
A,
I just
number A.
moved apostrophe
Letter
after
A.
because it's plural employees.
Yes,
Yep.
employees.
If you remember grammar from, I won't ask you how many years ago.
Sorry,
That's
it's
a
like,
long time ago.
it's like
Hey.
Melissa with her formatting. This is
Yeah.
like my, you
We
know,
all
like I
learn.
can't not
Right? When
see it.
somebody
Ah.
does that, we all learn.
It-
It
And that's
makes us
why,
all
and that's why
better.
we work well as a team.
Exactly.
Exactly.
It
It's
takes
so
a
nice.
village.
All
So
right,
going
line
back to
B,
that-
you need, yeah, you just need your S there too. Analyzes
Yeah,
or evaluates, just make
Schedule,
that.
yeah, I'm not sure why I
Well,
put the
yeah,
value.
so I was wondering about analyze departmental personnel. Isn't it more evaluate? Is this talking
Yes,
about supervisory responsibility? So
Yeah.
I thought
Yes.
this was a better
Right.
word.
Yes, I think
I
that was
agree.
one of my,
Perfect.
yes, trying to put the edit in there. So.
Analyze
yes.
sounds like data.
Or
It does. It's way too-
psychoanalyze the
Yeah,
personnel.
it's way too, yeah.
Yeah, I'll supervise that.
But I also, you can see, I also highlighted the word discipline.
Mhm.
I'm not sure in this day and age if discipline is the best adjective or verb or
Training.
whatever it is in this
I
context,
think-
training and disciplining. You know, what I mean, remediating or I don't know, is responsible for recruiting, training, and disciplining
Yeah,
employees
George.
just
Yeah.
Yeah,
rubs
Sounds
me
like
wrong.
you have rogue employees at that point, right?
that's right.
Yeah.
Training and keep.
Evaluate, and we already talked about evaluating, or addresses, addresses employee.
Disciplining.
And evaluates department as well as personnel problems. You know, I think it's said in the first sentence, evaluates departmental
I would
personnel
agree.
as well as personnel problems. And takes
Problems or
appropriate
issues?
actions.
Do we want to use issues or is
Yeah.
problems okay?
Issues are better. Issues are better.
Issues, yeah.
Well,
issues
April,
are-
to that point, I wonder if it's recruiting, training, and evaluating departmental personnel.
Yes.
Well, that's a good
That
point.
that makes better sense.
That makes and it makes the sentence a whole lot more,
Yes.
yeah,
It-
concise.
And disciplining is in.
Okay, so say the whole
Implied
sentence
rather
again.
than specifically said.
Well, if you
All right,
start, because that's, if you think about it, first you're gonna recruit them, then you're gonna train them, then you're gonna evaluate them. So if you start line B with recruit, train, and evaluate, recruits, trains, and evaluates departmental personnel, but then you have to make the personnel issue separate because you're not recruiting personnel issues.
What, you don't like this sentence the way it is?
No, I like that. You just did you just get rid of the?
Yeah, I
think
deleted the
that's
first
great.
one. We don't need it.
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's-
nice and condensed,
Nice job, Ann. That's great.
concise. Yeah, that was great.
You've got a good mind for this. Is responsible. Okay.
So how's everybody with everything else here?
Looks
Keep
great.
going down. I think you went back, the tree warden thing.
Yeah, we'll get to it. It's down here. Yeah, so it's down here. So no, everybody's okay with this page then.
What was that question you had there, George? You said who or someone did.
I did.
That was April.
Yes, who has precedent when tasks are assigned requested? That came up when we were.
Oh, that
talking
did, because
before.
remember in the interview that we were worried about the person being overly burdened with too many people coming at them.
Yes, yes. So
Um,
assigns work as directed by the select board and or town administrator. I'm not sure why the cemetery commission. Yeah, I think with that was the whole point there.
But
That-
Melissa, you as the select board would really be the only body that could direct work, right? Could the cemetery?
No. So cemetery commission can if they have when
Oh,
they have
really?
plowing to be done, or if there's
Okay.
some work that needs to be done, because that is a town property. The school also can do that. They plowing and such, again,
Okay.
it's town property. So select board
Huh.
does have a role in that, but conservation commission has some role. Fire department might need something from them. There's multiple levels of people
So-
coming at them.
So I
Wow.
think it should all go through the town administrator. I mean, as the central person.
Well,
So
but I'm wondering-
coordinate and assigns work as directed by the town administrator or as wait a minute.
I wanna make-
Coordinate assigns.
I'd have to- Is a commission an authoritative body?
Say that again, George, you kind of cut out a little bit.
Is a commission an authoritative body where they say this needs to be done, so the highway department has to do it?
Well,
know what I
like the
mean?
cemetery commission, yeah, they would, because they're in charge of the cemetery, right? So that's their authority jurisdiction.
Cemetery commission
but
and
the
other
question
local
was-
boards and authorities.
But the question was that, so they all come at the highway department that it's the town administrator's role to help prioritize.
Well,
all
And
of
this
the
position
requests.
does report to her, right?
Yes,
It does, yeah.
everybody does. You do. No,
So
Select
this is
board doesn't.
interesting. Oversees
Well-
personnel, but then this says coordinates and assigns work as directed by the select board. Oh, so the select board, the cemetery commission, and other local boards come to the superintendent, who then divvies up the work. That's what this is saying.
Yeah,
Right.
that's the personnel.
Yeah, so I think this is just poorly worded.
yes, and again, I think it really needs that the boards and committees need to go through the town administrator, who's
What's
sort
up
of the gatekeeper.
What's up above? I think there was a sentence up above that might address that, April. It was towards the beginning. of the job description. I could be remembering it incorrectly. Okay, so it's right in, it says the superintendent is appointed, well, so hold on. Select board reports to the select board through the office of the town administrator, works within town approved policies. Position, I guess it does not. I thought it
Well,
did.
Well, the independent
Superintendent is a-
judgment would make it sound like the superintendent could decide how to prioritize, right?
Well, yeah, and that,
Yeah. And Tim has, I mean, Tim did the whole time he was there.
Okay,
mean-
so boards, is that how it would work? Like the school, the cemetery would come to Tim and say, you know, this needs to be done, this needs to be done, and then it would be up to him to prioritize it? Or should it be?
Or added in the
Yeah, no, it's the
schedule,
superintendent.
added
If-
in his schedule, his daily, weekly, monthly, whatever.
Alright.
If
Yeah.
the work is going to be performed by the highway department, then it's the
Yes.
superintendent who's going to decide
That's
who does
true.
what.
That's
So
true.
to me, it's coordinates and assigns work, period. Now,
Why couldn't it be coordinates and assigns work as directed? Or do you want to leave that as directed off?
Or as requested,
or, you know,
I know, I think requested,
As needed.
yeah.
including,
As requested.
including, work.
Work request-
Directed, including, activities directed by other
Town partners.
members of town, however you want to word it. Or does that even need to be said?
I don't think, yeah, I think we're,
No, I think you're as directed or as requested, I think is, you know.
I think that's enough. And then you go
Yeah.
from there, just as directed.
But it's not, townspeople can't direct,
No.
though they have tried.
What does this even mean as directed? I mean, on its own, I mean, that's not very clear, is it? It's like the second
Coordinates
amendment.
assigns work.
no.
Well,
Also,
that's-
if you're
yeah.
directing it, then you're assigning. it.
Yes,
It's confusing.
right. So it's redundant.
Yeah,
it's
Take
kind of
that
a-
off and
It's
put
kind of
assigns
directing,
work.
coordinating, directing, assigning.
So assigns work.
Yeah. George, actually, can you send this to me? Because I'm not catching all of these
Yeah.
as I should.
I'm not sure I've made all the changes, but yes, I
No,
will.
well,
Yep, I will.
Between the two of us, we can do it.
All right. I'm sure you'll figure it out.
I'll figure it. It's not rocket science.
Yeah, no, I guess I did make most of the changes. This one was long range.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
okay.
folks.
Yeah.
Just let me put that in just so that April will have it. I think that's the only
Okay.
other thing I didn't do.
Yes. Long range is
Lone
good.
Ranger.
Oh, yeah. Really,
Remember-
what was I thinking?
When you're being watched and you're typing, the typing skills go out the
I
window.
know.
Oh, I have news for you.
The
I'm
worst
bad even
like
when I'm
this.
not being watched.
Holiday six, okay.
But thank you for that, Melissa.
No, it's.
okay, wait, Georgie, do you want to delete the,
Yeah, where were we with that?
Equal-
It's
the-
responsible for, blah, blah, it's directed.
As directed by,
yeah, delete that
Coordinates.
whole phrase? Right?
yeah, that whole two, yeah.
Well, actually, that's implied, isn't that?
Yes,
So
Yeah.
why do we have that at all?
right. I took it out. Coordinates and assigns
No.
work to staff. That's
But
his
that's,
job.
but that's implied. So, or not
Nobody's that,
implied.
this section is overseas personnel. It's not asking where the
Okay.
work comes from. It's saying, what does he do in terms
Mm,
of personnel? He coordinates them and assigns them their assignments.
That's right, that's
Work.
perfect.
So we don't need D, do we? What's D there?
There is no D. D's
You know,
gone.
I just keep thinking if Becky was here, it'd be like, oh, but wait. No,
It's okay, but
it's okay. Yeah,
that's okay, well, she'll
You
catch up,
could-
if she needs to.
we're big.
I mean, you
we're-
could
we're
just
adults, we
change
can handle it.
work to tasks if that feels like it's a better, you know, that there are multiple tasks and some could come, but I don't know if that would alleviate what you're.
Or we could do both, you
Which
know.
way?
No, or just work,
Because really, they do a wide range of things. We could do that too.
yeah.
That's good.
I would almost take two staff off.
Yeah.
Nice and concise, you know?
But
I
he-
know, it's true. I don't know that they can tell us what to do.
Coordinates and
But
assigns
your
work
staff.
tasks within the department. I don't know. We'll leave it. I like
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, I
I-
think it's
Yeah.
implied on who they, you know.
Yes,
I'd like
that's
to
That
know.
was my
Trying
vote
to
at the
tell them
beginning.
these two.
that's
So,
right,
okay.
you're not
I
gonna
want
get a,
that
Well-
one. I
Well, the
want-
other thing we could do is, you know, we could put in highway personnel, you
Yeah,
know?
that's great, yeah.
You like
yes,
that?
You
yes,
can't
that's
just
perfect,
leave it,
yes.
can you, George?
yes,
You
yes.
Just can't leave it.
No, yes, He's not gonna
Right.
come knocking on
Personnel or
our
highway Department
doors.
of Public Works personnel or highway,
Yeah.
Highway's good. I think highway's good.
highway's good enough, okay. I'm gonna go one step.
Yeah, I had that thought too.
All right, we'll do that. Just in case, what about the highway cop? I don't know,
That's your accounting degree popping through there, George.
I guess. All right, I better save this before,
Yeah, don't forget to.
Yeah, save often.
yeah, you got that right. All right. My
Okay, you
personnel
got it.
board. I can't see how to save here. Oh, there it is. Is that
It's
it?
right there.
Yeah,
there you
okay,
go.
I got it.
Okay.
Oh, here.
Administers budgets for the
This is where I
department.
would put administers highway budgets. Rather than
Yeah,
just as a
actually,
department.
and ensure spending
Yes.
is within the budget is what I wanted to add. But what did you say, Melissa? I'm sorry.
It administers highway budgets rather than for the department.
Oh, highway department budgets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Should the department be capitalized?
yeah.
Probably. And would it be?
Hmm,
I guess
I
it's
don't know.
one of
It's
those
a
things.
good
that can go either
question.
way.
Well,
It
I'm
might
gonna
be
do
one of
it.
Those ones that
That's
can go
fine.
either way.
You don't want to take off, yeah, you want to take off for the department.
Yeah, take that off.
Yeah. Nope, down
No,
on the
down-
administrative
No, no,
highway.
administers highway department budgets, period.
You don't need for the department.
That seems,
Okay.
And I put this in yellow. I wanted to add this and ensure spending is within the approved budget
Hmm.
amounts.
Or
That's
else.
the finance department guy and me, finance committee member and me.
Yes. And prepares departmental budgets. Budget.
and this may be nitpicky and I'm not necessarily over warm or fuzzy, but it says prepares payroll for the department. Should that say prepares payroll for highway department employees? Or
Yeah.
just
Well,
prepares
administers
payroll?
highway department budget. I
Yeah,
mean,
so prepares payroll.
So what does that mean, prepare payroll? That he's not
So
doing.
he does, yes, he does. He submits it to the select board to
Yeah.
sign. So he does
Okay.
the time sheets. Yeah.
Okay,
Maybe we can go to an electric timesheet thing.
God,
but-
that would be pretty wild.
yeah, automated would be great.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Tracks
expensive it would
expenditures and
be. You'd
various
have to talk to
accounts
the
and ensures
treasurer.
spending with it. Prepares
It could almost be
departmental.
a Google form.
I
So
actually
again-
made one in Excel a long time ago before my company moved up. to the next
So
level.
it should be on B, prepares highway department budget. Prepares the budget.
Oh, yeah, I got a problem here with. There we go. You mean C?
Yeah. Prepares the,
Yeah, you're right.
No,
It's a singular budget.
Highway department budget, yeah.
yeah,
We good?
okay. Yeah,
Yep.
that's fine.
Okay, tree warden.
Da, 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 shall blah, 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 blah. Essential duties would include pruning for blah, blah, blah.
With trees without shade.
For future generations, that's
that's right.
taken out of the old, I like that though.
It does sound like a park to me, though. It sounds like Shutesbury
Yes.
Park.
It does.
Just a,
I think that's probably from the Mass General Law.
Yeah,
Do we need it or?
just a logic
No.
question.
need it.
Why would we fertilize dangerous trees?
No, is it, oh,
Removing danger.
Oh, there's a comma. So pruning, comma, fertilizing, and then
bracing,
Bracing.
cable,
bracing, cabling, and
And or.
removing.
and or
But
removing
it's
dangerous.
dangerous. You'd have to say like pruning, fertilizing, bracing, cabling trees. And removing
And-
dangerous trees.
and
'Cause
then-
right now, everything is being done to
Right,
dangerous
everything
trees.
is,
trees.
everything's
That's
right. They fertilize trees?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
will. So, yeah. I
Yeah, well,
don't
you
know-
want to fertilize trees, you just don't want to fertilize the dangerous ones.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know what our past tree warden did. I know Tommy did a little bit of to keep a tree, if you give it you put some pegs in the ground or core stuff. Amherst College does it all the time to keep their trees healthy. They
Yeah,
pay
actually,
someone to come and do it.
So that means this is much broader description then.
Yeah. Pruning.
wait, I'm
bracing.
wondering, George, if what about if dangerous was just removed from the previous line? So you're pruning, fertilizing, bracing, cabling, and or removing trees.
Pruning, bracing,
Could you
cabling.
just do
Right.
it that way?
Right, because because we
yeah.
do all kinds of things for all kinds of trees, whether they're dangerous or not. Many of
Right.
these do pertain to dangerous. trees.
Right.
Right, yeah.
That's very good.
Very
Yeah.
good.
You are a wordsmith.
Oh, I
That's
do, I
excellent.
do like the idea of the dangerous trees.
They're gonna get you.
Well,
But
yeah, in Shutesbury, plenty
I
of them.
know,
We
you
are
can't go out
familiar.
after midnight because the dangerous trees.
I know. Calling,
Walk the
calling the tree
forest.
warden.
They're wandering
I
in
have
the
a
forest.
dangerous tree.
And the police chief. We need them both.
And dinosaurs are coming alive at the library. What? We have
Yeah, good
Why?
point.
I had images of Lot 032 becoming Jurassic Park.
Yeah, when she said that, it was funny.
I
Yeah.
know.
That was
Trees
awesome.
walking around,
That was
peeking in people's
awesome.
windows.
Well, and actually,
Dinosaurs.
this third line is kind of the, preserving the existing trees, so. All right, that kind of does, that's almost redundant, but that's fine.
Let's just
Yeah,
leave it.
it's good, it's good. I fixed the spelling in curb.
I like that. Yeah,
Future
good.
generations. I like that.
I know that was from I like that. It's a nice thought.
Yeah, I think so too.
Think of the little trees the trees that were little when we first moved here are now.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
all of
no
our
kidding.
forest is new. It was like pictures in the 40s. It was completely clear cut. You could see to Amherst.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, but
It's
yeah, by
all
the
new
post
forest.
office,
There's more forest now than we've ever had. So
Yeah.
We
at
need
least
it.
yeah. Well, I know, but I'm just saying, like, you look at pictures and you literally can see to Amherst because there's not a tree between here and Amherst.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen
Wow.
pictures of the White Mountains in the
Mhm.
1800s. The White Mountains
Yeah.
was desolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you go there
restricted.
now and you can't see 2 feet off the trail.
Yeah.
So I did have a
Okay.
question about B, is responsible for attendance at public meetings, communications of
Which
the
one?
department with other agencies, on communications with the public and representation of the department with other agencies. I guess, I don't know what that means. I guess it's kind of a catch-all thing. They just can talk to
Maybe it
whoever they
should be-
talk to.
With other agencies
think
or
that
with
just
other.
That may be
Maybe.
where it's a bit vague. I do agree with you, George, but I'm thinking that means, being present at meetings where the highway department
Right, would be impacted
we
or would have
need their input,
responsibility.
right? Like, yeah, so, and that may not just be in town, that could be locally.
I guess that's true.
area
DOT
or-
might have an issue, state
Right.
police might have an issue. Okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, I was just wondering what those agencies would be. All right.
Yeah, and it could be, it could be during an ice storm when you have, people coming in and trying to help out, like MEMA and FEMA and all of that stuff too, they're
Right.
getting so it's,
Yep.
I know it's broad, but I
No,
think
that's fine. That's what we want. I mean, we can't necessarily
We have to take a walk.
detail every possibility.
he's also on the emergency management team too, the highway.
Yes.
department, So
Oh, is that in here?
it is, it's the next one.
Yeah, it's
It
the
is
last
in
line.
there.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Everybody's good on this one?
Yeah. Yep. Let me get plugged in again. There we go.
Oh, you've
So you
gone-
can send that to April? Is that what we decided it's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
I think
Yeah,
we're not done though. We still got
So
last
this
page.
piece here, the supervisor's responsibilities, that should be above tree warden.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like underneath the personnel or maybe above the
Yeah, I'll
personnel
put it here.
one. Yeah.
Like so.
Go up a little bit more for a second. Does that fit there or does it fit more where it is the oversees the highway personnel?
Where is
Is
I'm
it?
sorry.
Oh, it's right at the top there. See, overseas, and here it says responsibility.
Supervise, so this whole section here is
I know. I
essential
looked at
duties
it.
and responsibilities, and this is supervisory responsibility. So are you saying this should be
Specifically for- okay.
incorporated into the essential skills?
I don't know. No, I'm not really sold on that. Just needed to be above the tree warden.
Okay. And
So
then
all the
tree
job
warden.
descriptions have those two headers, right? The
Yeah.
Essential then, because the supervisory is probably essential, but
But I think
Calling
I
it
think
out.
typically in our job descriptions, it is separated from
Yep.
essential.
Yeah.
But maybe the tree warden should be above that because that is an essential.
Oh,
That's
maybe it makes sense. Yeah.
Well, but but it's really a separate job from, I think we took it out of there because in the future, it may not be
Right.
a
Mhm.
responsibility.
This was the select, I can't remember who decided, if the select board, I think it was the select board decided to put it in here.
okay.
Which it can always be removed. It was always an
I don't have any-
individual
No
prior.
matter what, yeah.
You must think
And
I'm
it
living.
just, the highway department was being asked to do the work, so it was just better to have everything in one place.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10, the warden's calling the highway superintendent.
Right.
I mean, it's
recommend-
very important. It's the fit. It's a perfect fit.
And part of it also, we were lucky that Steve also went to school at Stockbridge, and
Yes.
landscaping is what he did prior. So he's well versed in tree health and
And
maintenance.
he's currently taking a course to become
Yes.
a tree warden.
Yes.
He has so embraced this job.
Yeah, he's great.
He is.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
know the
Steve is
person, I
great.
know the professor that he learned his tree stuff from, and so I highly recommend
Who was the
Okay.
professor?
Terry Tatter at UMass.
Okay.
And he has lots of energy. He's always, at least
Well,
as
just-
far as I've known him,
No, he's the right person for the job. When I heard
It-
it was open, I was hopeful that he would do it. I was
Yes.
glad he did.
But sort of off topic, I think that our new fire chief is phenomenal. You know, I think we're learning that, you know, these changes can end up not crashing and really being good.
Crashing and burning.
We're on a roll.
We're on a roll. All right,
And we promoted inside each time, the police, the fire, the highway.
that's
know,
right. That's right.
We were able to also do that, which is.
That's
it's nice.
right.
That's the best. Yeah,
Yes.
the
Yeah,
learning
that's-
curves are just a lot.
Yeah,
There's
we're in good
less
shape right
steep.
now. We shouldn't say that, knock on wood.
I was gonna say, not gonna.
So
Knock
is
on
everybody
wood.
okay with this
Yes.
as
I-
is?
Mhm.
And
Well,
so,
besides formatting.
yeah, so supervises the work of 2 full-time employees and 2 or 3 part-time employees. I mean, do we need to specify
No,
in the job description, supervises
No.
the work of department,
full-time of Department of Employees.
right?
Yeah,
Unless you, yeah,
Or of highway
there's no
department?
reason to say full and part-time, right?
No,
Or is
there's
there? Is there
not.
reason to,
You need
No,
an N in there.
And it's likely to change.
yeah, this hones
Yeah.
you to someone saying, well, that fourth person's not my job description.
right, that's right. Can any board request, oh, this is where that question was. Can any board request work? Or should it come through? I think we answered that,
direction, responsible.
that we're giving the highway superintendent the responsibility of coordinating the work requests from other parts of the community.
So
Except,
you don't think we need this? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, I don't think we need that.
And I think the sentence too there also reiterates that a little bit, April, where it says responsible. Direction of responsible town boards and commissions,
Mhm.
not
Yes.
just the random.
But not citizens.
Although there's a little bit of interaction and communication with citizens to.
Oh, absolutely. It's sort of, yeah, that's part of the, that keeps it
That's the fun of the
working.
of
Yes,
being a town department head.
yeah.
Okay, time to move on.
Yes.
Is there more? Is there? That's just the.
I think
Those are
that's
the
the standard language
qualifications.
that we see across the whole description.
Yeah, the only
Yeah.
thing the only thing in here that I think, and I know Steve was also working on this, was OSHA training.
Yes.
And I know
He
Merrill
is
was big
adding
on that.
OSHA.
Is there anything in here that says OSHA training?
Well, I
Or,
don't see a specific reference to OSHA.
It's
but
up
he's making
earlier.
sure that
It's up
everybody's
higher. It
trained in
does say,
OSHA.
It does say up a little higher. It did say making sure that things are within OSHA standards, but you don't know what OSHA standards are until you have
Get trained.
an
And
education.
he is,
Yeah.
he is getting himself and
OSHA
the
10,
department, everybody trained in OSHA.
At least OSHA 10. Yeah.
Yeah, we might need to find out what the proper wording for that is, but where's a good location for it?
Let's see. I think it would be under. I would put it if it was me, and what I've seen in my world of work now it's with the licensing and training. So it's usually up with the required
Oh, right.
driver's license and DOT
All right,
card,
so
and that sort of
Add
thing.
it somewhere. I'll just put this here.
Yeah. So
I don't know why. it didn't
you
fit.
could put minimum of OSHA 10.
You're gonna fix the bullet for me, right? Because I don't know why I didn't put it in.
Yeah.
What did you say, minimum?
Minimum of OSHA 10. So it's a 10-hour
Yeah,
course. Yep. It's
Um,
general, but OSHA 10.
Okay, there you are.
What's the last word?
10.
10, OSHA 10. Yep. Then there's an OSHA 30 as well, but just the
Oh,
OSHA
10, the
10.
number 10.
Yeah.
10. Yeah.
Oh, that's a specific,
Yeah, there's OSHA 10 and OSHA 30, and then there's a couple of others after that.
oh, okay, I see. I didn't realize that. Okay.
It's actually
So minimum of OSHA 10, licensing, training.
certification. Hang on. I'll look at my OSHA 10 card and I'll let you know what it says.
Oh,
You need to get rid of an E in there. Yep.
I don't know why it didn't do the bullet.
I know.
I know, it is strange. Oh, there you go.
The pages that
There we go.
sometimes with pages, I don't have it on me. I should be carrying that with me. Oh, I think it's an OSHA 10 certification, I think is what it's called, but it's.
Well, all right. If you find
I'll
out
look
something
it,
else,
yeah.
we can always modify it.
Okay, so send that off to me and I will get it into one form. Then I will send it off to Melissa and she will make it beautiful.
Yeah. To
I have
make
a
it
question.
presentable.
There's a highlight on life there. What is
Yeah,
that?
it used to say lift.
Like-
It's life. It should be lift.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out. I was gonna bring it up in the meeting. I was highlighting these. These are gonna be the things I was gonna say. You
I
all
think
see
with
how I work.
life is more than 50 pounds, feels like more than.
Definitely life, Andor.
You can lift 50, but then for life, you gotta be able to do 100.
It says
There's another
100.
one, George, in the next line.
It says
You have to
100 points.
occasionally lift.
To 100 points.
The
For
point.
sketch. All right.
Wait, is 100 points should be pounds, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
There we go.
I hope they use the buddy system when they
Lift
get
up
up
to
to 100 pounds.
I know,
Who could do that?
but that would be OSHA training, wouldn't it?
Yes, OSHA training would tell you not to do it and do it with a buddy, and it tells you exactly how you should do it physically so you don't hurt yourself.
Hmm.
One of the things with OSHA is you really need to be familiar with it, because when it doesn't matter if it's municipal or private, when OSHA comes in, you really need to know what they're looking at and that process. And that's what the 10 tells you and trains you for too, is what happens when OSHA comes in and there's been a complaint and what is required of you.
Aha.
Hmm.
So
Big
you
deal.
deal with that stuff in your job?
I do now. Yeah. Luckily we haven't had any accidents on our, there's a ribbon cutting tomorrow for the project I was brought in on too. So there wasn't any.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your dad would be proud, wouldn't he?
I'm working on 3 others now.
Wow. This is the longest meeting we have had.
I know.
We've gotten a lot done tonight. We
Yeah,
have done
and
a
don't
lot.
leave us. This is our.
I
own
know, I was-
meeting. Don't even think about it. So, moving on then, after George sends that,
Yeah, send that off to me and I'll get it ready for Melissa to make it gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yes.
All right.
I've started putting the Shutesbury seal on official documents like this.
What a good idea.
Yeah, that is a great
um,
idea,
Because
actually.
nothing we have has seals on it. And, we're official. And if it's an official document, it should look official.
Right.
Yeah.
And that should be, yes, and also all, yeah, anyway, the job descriptions should be digital. I mean, we should be able to, it's right now they're only paper. We don't have a digital file on
Oh,
these,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
we should.
but that's sort of the, how things change. So,
Okay, what else is on the agenda?
Open position in the highway department. I don't know if we can get all this done tonight.
Becky probably has to speak to that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that we should punt to the next one.
Okay.
Yeah. I talked to Grace the other day and she told me she had 2 candidates. This is as of Monday. And they both
Great.
backed out.
Oh,
uh,
so
Shoot.
can I ask, I didn't know we had an open position in the highway department. We have Steve.
yes, and Steve's job, Steve used to have he was
It
an
was one of the
employee,
full-timers.
and now it's not, so his job has to be filled.
Okay, and wasn't there somebody that lived up on West Pelham Road that worked for the highway department for a while?
Yes,
Mhm.
we do have an employee. There is one full-time employee and Steve. And so we need another full-time
Another.
employee.
Okay, so we'll move on that one. That's
Yeah,
on
I-
hold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, move that to the
And
next.
that's not on us to do, that's just sort of discussion, I think.
Yeah.
That may be.
Well, I
the
was
job
surprised. I didn't realize we had an open position, so just wanted to know.
When you promote one up, you leave one.
Yeah, yeah, I
open.
guess that makes sense. I
So-
hadn't thought that way.
I don't think we have a job description written for an assistant town clerk yet, do we? Or did Grace give us
I
something?
don't recall that we did. Did we do that last year?
I thought
We might have done it in the spring.
We might have, but I don't think we have a land use clerk position.
I
Yeah,
thought-
where is
Oh, yeah,
that?
we do have that. We do have that.
yeah,
We do?
Carrie,
Yes.
did we?
We're going, let's go back. Okay,
Okay.
well, let's go to the proposed assistant town clerk position.
Do we have,
What's going on with that as far as, do we have a job description and did we meet with our town clerk about this? I don't remember that. How did that
I don't
happen?
know.
I think
we
Becky brought
did.
it to us, yeah.
No, I think Grace came to one of our meetings.
Oh,
didn't
no, she did.
I think
I
she did.
did I get something from Becky that's, because I remember reading something about it,
I am
but
totally.
I don't know if that was in a town email.
Well, she wrote to me a while ago and we put it on, she requested an assistant, she wanted to talk to us about it. But maybe I missed a meeting. I did miss a meeting in the early fall, didn't I? So maybe that's when that happened.
But Grace did come and talk about it.
Okay,
Yeah, I
that's,
think it was a spring thing because it had to be approved by the finance committee to get added to the budget for the fiscal year,
Right.
the current
Oh,
fiscal
yeah,
year. So I
right.
think it was a spring thing.
okay, and
It's
that's
not
when
a
I
winter
was,
thing
I
that we
was
did
gone.
last winter.
Yeah, it's when I was in Colorado, I bet. I'll
Yeah,
bet
and I do remember her meeting with us. We
Yeah.
had, we talked with
Okay.
Grace for quite a bit. So I think we did do it.
So we need to follow up. Is there a job description? I can't remember if she gave us something.
April, I mean, I think it must have come from Becky, but did any of you, I got like a town email that said, hey, are you interested in?
Yeah.
Yes,
It's like an
all saw that.
advertisement of it. So I
That's
feel
right.
like that included the job description in that email.
that would be awesome.
So that has
Yeah, I'm
the,
pretty sure we did it.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm sure I deleted that.
If I know Grace, she had it done for us and all we
Yep.
had to do was review it. and
I think
rubber
that's
stamp it.
probably
yeah,
true.
you're right. So that money is there and
Yep.
she's looking for somebody. Is that
Yep.
where we are?
Yes.
Advertised.
Yeah,
Okay.
she, mostly because of the elections, she really wants to get somebody up to speed before next year's elections.
Oh, God, yes.
Yeah.
And
That's
she's
really
the
the big
dog
thing.
licenses and some of the other stuff that takes lots of time.
Yeah, especially now that we have, mail-in ballots as well as early voting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she's working on that. Okay, that I was totally, I think I was gone and did not realize that was happening. Proposed land use clerk position. What about that? What's going on with that?
We have that position. Somebody has
Yeah,
it.
Carrie Marshall is our land use clerk.
I think that person is leaving. Is that?
That's what I think.
Why is it on the
A while
agenda?
ago, we talked about this a while ago. Works
Yeah.
with the Conservation Commission and and also works with Wendell and isn't that true? That person works for Wendell, not New Salem, or maybe Wendell and Shutesbury. And we were looking, I don't even know what came out of that. We met with,
She was actually, that was looking for not the clerk, but for a professional, and I can't remember what that's called.
Consult.
And
Well,
they-
there are, I just looked on our Shutesbury website and there are 3 job descriptions for job openings.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
they're all up there. The assistant town clerk, the land use clerk and the highway. Well, I don't know. Is that the same? The highway equipment operator?
Yes,
No,
is-
that's what Steve was. Yeah, that's
Yep.
that.
That's
So
the
I just
one that-
click here for the description. So
Wow, you are.
it's all
Yeah.
done.
That.
All right, Ann.
right, Ann.
We
So
need
those-
fresh
all
eyes.
three- All 3 are being advertised.
takes a
Ann?
team.
Yep, they're all up there, Peg.
So we did great. All right. And just,
I'm wondering why those things are on the agenda, though.
I'm not
I
sure. They're
looked at,
talking
Becky didn't send us anything related. I just went through the,
I
put
wonder if she
them on
just wanted
because
to
last
update it.
time we met, we talked about, I had it in my notes. We had question marks about the highway position, the town clerk and land use clerk. So I thought, well, maybe we talked about needing to discuss that tonight, where things were happening or something.
and maybe that's what Becky would have updated us or had she.
Yeah. it should
Yeah,
have-
Yeah.
right. Well, she can always add it. She can always get on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe it was
If
like
we
a
have need be.
status.
Oh, they're right on the front page too.
Yeah. They are.
Brilliant. Okay, I
That's
do
great.
have an update that Becky and I have worked on the, wait a minute, where is it?
Classification.
Yes,
Thank-
the classification. So we are working and we're close to being done.
Oh,
Okay.
right, good.
Because in the minutes, it says being updated and expecting a draft at
Any
our
minute now.
November meeting.
Well, you didn't say what year.
That's right. That's true. I'll know better
Yeah,
next
she
time.
had it. She, when I got up here, she and I checked in a little bit about other things and she had it in her hand.
Yep,
So in the minutes,
So-
I'm gonna take out the November and change it to December.
That's a great
sure,
idea.
might as well. We'll
It'll
get
look
it
funny
done.
in the November minutes if it says November. All right, I did that.
Okay, and the personnel handbook, how are we doing on that?
Yes, we will have a draft for the next meeting.
Okay.
All right, sounds like we're gonna be busy again.
Yes, I made, I'll make sure we get it out so you guys can read through it. I tried, I initially started writing and then I backed up and highlighted new stuff in color, so that it doesn't confuse us with the old stuff. Although ours was so old, everything really needs to be done. And then I think there's a lot we need to add to it. That's just my personal opinion. It needs to be a little more specific with things that the law and labor law has come up to date with, I think. But
Okay.
but
Okay.
it'll be in color. So then, and I'll when I send it out, I'll tell you what the colors mean. And do you guys want it in a Word format, George, so you can do your highlights?
Yes,
Do you want it in P? Okay, sounds good.
I like getting things in Word formats because when I read them, I can make my little notes
Yeah,
on them. So
no,
when we
that's
get
fine.
to the meeting,
Okay,
PDFs just frustrate me.
No, I understand.
so our next meeting, hopefully we'll have, we'll be looking to see what Becky has to tell us about those 3 positions.
yeah,
Town clerk, assistant town clerk and land use. And we'll be talking about the handbook. Thank you, Melissa. And also the classification schedules. Thank you, April. And
Well,
Becky.
this will be done.
It'll be a longer meeting and maybe we'll have some information. I don't know, but about the, what we talked with Gary about, maybe not this early.
Right.
So
See if
for the
anybody on the trash committee, the recycling committee feels they can do it. I'm on that committee, but I don't think I want to take that on, so. But there may be somebody else that is willing to do it. We've expanded, we have a couple more people on the committee now, so. That's good.
That's awesome.
Well, April, what were you gonna say?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna ask, next meeting is December 14th, and on the minutes, we don't have any other meetings
Oh,
noted. So I was just looking at my calendar, January 18th, February 15th, and March 21st, look like the third Thursdays. Everybody's okay if I add those to the minutes?
yes. So you're
Can
thinking,
I ask a question? What time would you be meeting on the 14th? The only reason I ask is my husband's 50th birthday.
Whoa.
My birthday too, Melissa.
Huh?
It's my birthday too.
Wow,
Well,
yeah.
we
Not
can
50.
change that to the
unfortunately.
22nd. You want to
21st.
meet the week after?
you go ahead and meet the week after. I will not be here.
Are you
How
sure?
about the week before? How about the 8th?
Can we do that? I guess.
That's
The
a
7th?
Friday,
Why not?
George.
Yeah, the 7th.
The
Yeah,
7th, 14th, 21st, or 28th are the Thursdays.
Those, 2024?
I think, oh,
December.
George. Where is George? Oh, there he is. So are we saying December 7th?
Yeah.
December 14th is our next meeting. And then the one after that I had is January 18th. It looks to me like January 18th is a Thursday, but my calendar doesn't have the days on it, so.
I think we were talking December, George.
Oh, that's when his birthday is in December?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Oh,
We're
okay,
going back to
so,
December 7th,
oh,
Yeah.
sure,
Okay.
okay?
I can do.
All right.
I'm
Can you
putting
do
it
it
on the
now?
calendar.
Well,
April?
those two
Yeah,
things, the
I-
handbook and
Yeah, I would prefer not to meet on my birthday. So I'm
Yeah.
gonna go to Melissa's husband's party.
When's your birthday?
The same day.
Mine's the 14th too.
all right, how about December 21st?
well, Peg won't
Go
be
ahead.
here.
No, I thought we said the 7th.
Well,
Yeah,
I thought you said
Peg's
it's your
not here.
birthday.
No.
No, the 14th
This
is-
is like
December
peas on
14th
first.
is the birthday day.
I'm
And Mr. Damas's birthday is also that day.
The 14th doesn't work for Melissa and me.
Okay,
So the 7th or the 21st. So the reason I asked the 7th or the 21st is because we have two things, the classification and the handbook. Will those drafts be ready in time for the 7th?
no,
Yes, I can get
All right,
I can get
21st.
it. Yeah, I can get that one done for the 7th.
Okay.
I've got it down
we
as
will
the 21st.
no, we could get it done for the 7th, maybe.
7th it is.
possibly.
All right.
Well, if we get one of them done,
I hit
That's
save.
right, we'll have a party.
And I think also too, that like, I think both of those, I'm not sure about the classification because I haven't looked at it in detail, but at least the policy one will probably go over into January is my guess too, because of just
okay.
reading, discussion and,
Well, I
That
think
makes sense.
when we get those two done, the classification and the handbook, I think those will be, I mean, how long has this committee been working on this?
2
A
years, maybe?
long time.
sometimes in
Yeah.
theory, not necessarily in practice.
Right,
Well, other things come up,
Yeah.
and so,
Like their job descriptions are important too, because that's someone's direct,
yes. But I will need somebody, because Becky and I cannot do the town administrator's classification. But we need somebody to replace Becky for that. Just for
Yeah,
that.
she's a
job
busy
description.
person.
Yeah, so
Well,
it's also,
hers.
yeah,
so
it's her
conflict
job,
of
so she-
interest, right?
yeah, she can't do
Oh,
that.
yeah,
There is that. But we'll discuss that.
okay,
All
on
right,
December 7th.
right.
7th.
So the only thing I'm gonna ask about December 7th, Peg, let's remember, so we get it posted, because I'm not necessarily gonna be thinking that.
Okay,
Well, you
Is it
could post it now with a couple of things on there and just say update will be
Oh, that's
update
true.
forthcoming. Because that's what the select board is trying to
Mm.
do. Is that when we set a date to put it out there, even though the agenda is not finalized, but at least say, hey, we're having a meeting on this
Well,
date.
this is what
Why,
your,
why did we schedule the 14th in the first place? Because that's not the third week.
It would have been the 21st.
It would have been the
Because it was a
21st.
little too close to
Yeah.
the holidays.
because I knew I was gonna be gone, so, or not.
Okay,
able
all
to
right,
attend,
that's what it is.
happened.
Okay. that
So
makes
We
I'm
sense.
knew
Okay,
it was Ann's birthday.
okay. I won't say it again.
So we have all these Sagittarians. Anyway,
We could go with the 21st, just fine.
No,
Well,
no,
at
no,
least
it's
it
the
doesn't
7th.
fall
I'm
on
not
mine.
changing it.
you
Doesn't
could-
fall on my birthday in January, so that's good.
when is your, we should mark the birthdays on the calendar, yes.
January 10th.
So George, what did you say? What do you want? The 21st or the
No,
7th?
no, I got it as the 7th. I'm leaving it as the 7th. Everybody seemed to be fine with that when we did that, so.
Okay, This has
All
been
right.
As
fun.
long as Melissa and April can get their, you know.
Oh, we're on it.
Yes, all right,
Okay.
good. Hey,
Although-
listen, if you didn't have a deadline, it'd never get done.
Well,
Exactly.
sometimes
I
you need
know,
that
right?
deadline just to give you a little bit of a push, like it helps.
Right.
It does. Well,
It's a
this has been
motivator.
fun.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I'll second that.
Okay.
All those
Okay.
in favor?
Arvanitis, aye.
Ross, I.
Make peace
Freaking
with your
lie.
eye.
Stein eye.
Okay,
That's been
Have a
fun.
great Thanksgiving.
yes.
Yes.
Thanks,
right.
you too.
That's
And
right.
we'll see everybody on the 7th, and it won't be anybody's birthday.
There's someone's in the
know.
world. Isn't that D-Day?
I was just gonna say, isn't that something?
Oh, it is. That's Pearl Harbor Day.
Yeah. it
The
is.
Oh, Pearl Harbor Day. I'm
days.
sorry.
Yeah.
D-Day's another day.
Well, we're gonna meet because it'll be just like Pearl Harbor.
There you go.
All right.
No.
Happy
Have a
holidays.
good day,
Bye,
guys.
thanks,
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Dog walking.